Before you begin. Over the years, I've had numerous conversations and have been asked countless questions about the things you need to know before building a custom home. To me, it's simple and straightforward because I've been in the residential home building business since I was 10 years old. It's what I know best. But if you've never built a custom home or are considering building another one, then this book is for you. It's a quick read that gets straight to the point and provides the answers you need to make informed decisions. You can probably read the whole book in a couple of hours. So why did I write a book on what you need to know before building your one-of-a-kind custom home? First, because I believe it can save you thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars. More importantly, it could save you a lot of headaches and heartaches. In truth, most of the insights in this book were discovered the hard way, learning from my own mistakes, and I'm still learning. My desire is to share practical information in an easy-to-read format to help you through the entire home building process, planning, designing, and building, so you can create the luxury custom home of your dreams. I first learned about hard work from my father. As a child, we lived on a dairy farm where long days of labor were a way of life. When I was 10, he sold the farm and started his own business building homes. I was always right behind my dad, following him around, handing him tools, and helping in any way I could. I guess I got the entrepreneurial bug from my father because I started my own roofing company at age 17. In fact, that roofing company was profitable enough to put me through 4 years of college, where I earned a bachelor's degree in construction management. I've been building homes on my own ever since, and loving it. If you ask someone who has recently built a custom home, you may hear a horror story about their experience. Perhaps 4 out of 10 people will say their experience was fair, and only 1 in 10 will say their experience was great. My aim is for you to be in the group that has a great experience building your new luxury custom home. I want you to imagine your dream home, to see it in your mind, and perhaps even sketch it out on a napkin over lunch with a friend because you're so excited about your unique vision. Then I want you to see it on paper, and someday see your dream to live in the incredible home that you've created come true. Of course, a house is more than just a structure. It's an extension of who you are. It's the place you raise your family, dream your dreams, and live them out to the fullest. Long after the concrete, wood, and glass make a house, the family makes a home, and you come to cherish the place where laughter fills the air, sad moments come and go, and memories are made. My deepest desire for the people whose homes I build is to someday, perhaps 10 or 20 years later, be invited back so we can visit together and reflect on all the memories that have been created in this space that was once nothing more than someone's dream. It would be a treasure to feel the fullness in the air that holds all the laughter, tears, and memories of years gone by, and share together what life has brought. There are few things as personal as your home. Making the choice to build a luxury custom home can be one of life's most rewarding adventures. Without the right information, it can also be filled with unforeseen problems and delays. I want you to have the best possible experience in your home building process. This book can be an essential and helpful resource. For the past 15 years, my company has been building magnificent custom-designed homes for the luxury market. The information in this guide, highlights from my years of experience, will help you make more informed choices and have less stress and greater confidence throughout the entire process. Are you ready to get started? Here's to building your dreams. Dave Konkol. Part 1. Before you build. Chapter 1. Should I build or buy an existing home? 10 questions to help you decide. To build or to buy, that's the primary question to answer before building a new custom home. To help you decide, ask yourself these 10 important questions. Be very honest. Answer each one carefully. Keep in mind that there are no right or wrong answers. You're simply trying to determine the best course of action at this point in your life. Here are the questions to consider. Answer yes or no to each one. 1. Do I have a hard time making decisions? 2. Once I make decisions, do I struggle with wanting to change them? 3. Am I a perfectionist? 4. Is my schedule so busy it's difficult to find time to do the things I enjoy? 5. Does uncertainty and lack of control add stress to my life? 6. Am I regularly disappointed by interactions with other people? 7. Do I handle conflict by looking for the win-win solution? 8. Do I have some available time in my life for the next 2 to 3 years? 9. Am I realistic enough to recognize that things aren't always perfect? And 10. Is our family life stable enough to handle the additional activity? If you answered no to the first 6 questions and yes to the last 4, you're ready to build. If not, you may want to consider waiting on the building process. If your answers were different on more than 3 or 4 questions, I suggest you buy a house that is already built. In a consumer-driven economy, many families have been stretched and stressed because the timing wasn't right, or they weren't the right profile of person to be building a custom home. They would have been better off buying an existing home than going through a process that wasn't suited for their life stage, temperament, or timing. Let's look at an example of a couple that wasn't ready for the custom home building process. In some ways, Josh and Melinda seemed to be ideal candidates to custom design and build a new home. However, it soon became apparent they had difficulty making decisions. See question number 1. In addition, Josh was consumed by the demands of his business since he had just launched his own company 3 years before. See question number 4 and 8. Josh and Melinda were habitually late for their appointments. In addition to the pressing demands of business, it turned out they were in the midst of an intensely personal family situation that was consuming their time and attention. See question number 10. It became apparent that this lovely couple did not have the time at this point in their lives to spend custom designing and building a home. A quick look at the 10 questions clearly indicated it wasn't an ideal time for Josh and Melinda to build a new home. The bottom line: carefully consider the decision to build or to buy before beginning the design-build process. Chapter 2. Which comes first, the builder or the designer? Just like the proverbial chicken and egg question, which comes first is a question that confuses some people, but must be answered before you start the custom home building process. While the answer may seem obvious, it's important to know the right answer in order to avoid problems from the beginning. The designer comes before the builder, right? Wrong. Keep listening. Sometimes people get the cart before the horse, and in all the excitement, they get ahead of themselves. Mike and Janine thought they had done it all right. They had a roll of plans tucked under their arms, a sparkle in their eyes, and a skip in their steps because they knew they had something very special. They had the plans to their dream home. During the last several months, Mike and Janine had spent countless hours dreaming about their new home and holding meetings with their designer. They went through revision after revision, poring over the plans until late in the evenings. The couple worked tirelessly to make every room just right. Put the baby's room here, move the daughter's room there, make the closet just a bit wider, add 2 feet to the kitchen, giving instruction upon instruction to their designer about each room. Their dream home included the newest ideas from this old house, the latest trends in low-voltage lighting, and cutting-edge insulation that could lower energy bills by up to 90%. It had a cabana like the one they saw while vacationing in Acapulco, layers upon layers of moldings, extra tall ceilings, an additional bay in the garage, a steeper roof that was changed not twice but 3 times because their friends told them it looked too shallow. Mike and Janine were now ready to find a builder. They were so excited. Janine was bubbling over with her plans. Holiday decorations, birthday parties, and dinners with all the aunts, uncles, cousins, and grandma. They had their finished plans, and they were now ready to build. They could see it. They could taste it. They could hear the sounds of laughter around the table. And then the moment of truth arrived. They were ready to talk to a builder and get him started on their new house. But here was the problem. The actual cost to build this house, the house they had labored over for so many hours, over so many months, ended up costing 75% more to build than they expected. How did this happen? Well, they asked the designer, and he gave them his estimate of what it would cost. That's what they based their plans on, the designer's estimate. And that is the problem. The designer is not trained in doing cost estimates. This news was so devastating to them that Mike and Janine just rolled up their plans, walked out the door, and sold their lot. Their dreams had been shattered, and they were crushed. After all their initial efforts, they couldn't gather the energy to start the process all over again. But it could have been different. If only this enthusiastic couple had known the importance of which comes first, the builder, not the designer. If you're in this predicament and you're unwilling to sell your lot, you'll discover what happens next when you hear Jim and Linda's story. The bottom line: meet with your builder and discuss your budget before you meet with a designer. Chapter 3. Forcing a Round Peg into a Square Hole. Finding a Competent Builder. Jim and Linda were the kind of people who refused to give up. Sometimes persistence is a good thing, but there are times when pushing too hard is unwise. This couple, for instance, were unwilling to listen to sound professional advice. They forced their opinions and ideas on a builder, and it was like forcing a round peg into a square hole. It just didn't work. Even when they realized they had received inaccurate advice from their designer about their home building costs, they wouldn't give up their dream. So they began to shop in earnest for a builder who would build their home for the price they were told. Would Jim and Linda find a satisfactory and skilled home builder? Maybe. But the builder they seemed to want, one who would be the answer to all their problems, would have been either a builder who was desperate for work or one who didn't know how to price a home. Finding a competent builder can be challenging, but when you know what to look for, you'll get an accurate estimate and good advice. Many builders won't or don't know how to price a home while it's still in the concept stage. If most builders can't do this, it certainly makes sense that most designers can't either. After all, designers are trained and skilled in designing and creating what they are asked to create. Homeowners who don't have a good handle on pricing will tell the designer what they want, and the designer will only do what he was retained to do. I'm not blaming designers for not knowing about estimating accurate costs. It's not their area of expertise. After dozens of exhausting interviews with many builders, Jim and Linda got their home building costs down to a price that was only 20 or 30% less than the initial estimate, still well over their budget. But they didn't want to give up their dream. They were willing to do anything to bring their dream to fruition. At this point, Jim and Linda had some choices to make. Instead of cutting their losses and stopping the spending, they continued to pour more and more money into a project that wasn't suitable. There are plenty of potential homeowners who receive bad advice from a builder and find out 1 or 2 years later that their building project is a disaster. Sometimes they begin frantically calling reputable builders in the middle of a project, pleading for help because they finally realize they have relied on poor advice and ended up involved in a lawsuit with their builder. Please don't do this to yourself. Save yourself and your family the agony of lost time, lost dreams, or lawsuits. Life is too short. It's not worth it. Get good advice from a competent builder. Interview several first to determine the right one for you and your custom home project. A competent builder will explain the home building process and all the steps along the way. He can guide you through the entire process so you feel confident and secure in your purchase decisions. His firm will have an excellent reputation and be up to date on building codes, land, and procedures. Check out the company's references and previous projects completed. The bottom line: make sure you get good advice from a competent builder. Chapter 4. Do I have to like my builder? So now you've selected a competent builder. But you may ask, do I have to like the guy? If he has a good reputation as a builder, does it really matter if I like him? Yes, it matters. Don't sign a contract with a builder you don't like, trust, or respect. If you do, you could be headed for trouble. Why? Because this is a long-term relationship. And a long-term relationship with someone you don't like, trust, or respect can be challenging, frustrating, and more than disappointing. The planning stages of custom building a new home can take anywhere from months to years. Actual construction may range from 6 months to 24 months or longer, depending on the size and scope of your home. Add to that a 1 or 2 year limited warranty time period, as well as the fact that you may need additional information from your builder for many years to come regarding warranty information, vendor and subcontractor contacts, and other nuances. In this business, it's not uncommon to lose some contracts to other builders, and it usually boils down to perceived costs. A prospective homeowner may initially think our pricing is higher than our competitor, but most often that's because we didn't have the opportunity to thoroughly compare the two proposals. We like to ask our homeowners why they chose us to build their home. Often the answer is trust. When challenges arise in your project and you call to ask questions, it's important to know that you'll get a straight and honest answer. Do you respect your builder's values? You don't have to socialize together, but sometimes people choose a builder they actually dislike. Maybe the husband likes the builder or his price, but his wife doesn't care for his style, approach, or manners. Ask yourself this question: is there a reason you're uncomfortable with this person? If so, why in the world would you trust him to build your single most important investment? If you or your spouse sense that a potential builder operates from a less than honest value system, why would you trust him to operate his business with honest values? During the construction process, there will be times when your builder will be making some judgment calls. Many of these will be unknown to you, and that's just part of the business. When it comes to your home, you'll want to know that your builder will be making choices as if it's his own home, as if his own family's safety depended on the choices he makes, not just what will pass code inspections. No shortcuts for a quick profit. Are values important? You bet they are. The bottom line: don't sign a contract with someone you don't like, trust, or respect. Chapter 5. Pick 3 out of 4. Quality, speed, service, price. Jim and Susan had 6, count 'em, 6 separate flooring companies at their home in a 3-week period, providing estimates to sand and refinish their hardwood floors. About a month later, an unusual sound came from Jim and Susan's house, loud enough that everyone in the neighborhood heard it. There was an explosion of screaming and yelling that continued for several minutes. A hardwood flooring van was parked out front. Can you guess what happened? The couple expected a beautiful, high-quality floor, but what they got was what they paid for. They were not happy. Jim and Susan had selected their hardwood flooring contractor based strictly on price, but somehow they expected they would receive quality, speed, service, and the best price. Sure, they probably got the lowest price, but with it came a lot of heartache because they expected more and got a lot less. It's no different than selecting a builder for your custom home. You need to determine what you value and decide what's most important: quality, speed, service, or price. Of course, you want all 4 components, but most often you will need to find a builder who can provide 3 out of 4. That's reality. Is it reasonable to expect that you'll get a builder who will give you the lowest price with great quality, great service, and a timely finish? Let's consider the merits of each. First, quality. A good company prides itself on providing a quality product, especially in the custom home market. They encourage prospective homeowners to look closely at the work they've done for other homeowners and affirm they would be pleased with the excellent workmanship the company provides. Comfort with quality, luxury with outstanding craftsmanship. 2. Speed. An on-time finish is important, but there may be times, especially in a busy market, when a builder misses some deadlines. If that happens, you want your builder to proactively communicate with you and, if possible, find a way to make up the time and get it done quickly. 3. Service. A builder with exceptional customer care will provide good communication and attend to the homeowner's needs before, during, and after their home is completed. And 4. Price. The best companies aren't usually the cheapest. But consider this: they're probably not the most expensive either. Great companies deliver good value, An honest builder charges at or below market value for the level of service and quality product they provide. Very seldom is the cheapest price the best choice for a home builder. Don't make the mistake of thinking you can have all four qualities in one builder. A Lexus or a Mercedes is priced differently than a Pontiac. If you pay Pontiac pricing like Jim and Susan and still expect a Lexus or Mercedes level of performance, you are setting yourself up for disappointment, conflict, and sometimes even a lawsuit. Know what's important to you and adjust your expectations. If cost is your most important value, then choose the contract with the lowest price. However, if you value quality, be sure you look for excellent workmanship. You can get the results you want in a quality custom home. Just be sure to select your builder based on what you truly value. The bottom line. Realistically, expect to get 3 out of 4 components from your home builder. Decide what's important to you. Chapter 6. Where should I spend my money? If you're going to err, do it here. Building a home is probably one of the biggest investments you'll ever make, so you'll want to know where to put your money to get the most value for your investment. Here are 7 areas to consider. Location. You've heard the adage, location, location, location. This is where to spend your money. You could build a home with a great design with great features and finishes, but if you build it in the wrong location or on the wrong lot, you could be in real trouble. Consider purchasing the most expensive lot you can afford. Historically, waterfront property experiences stronger growth in value than non-waterfront property. If you like water and can afford it, build on waterfront. Your long-term investment is more likely to be sound. Design services. You can add enormous value to your home by investing in the services of a competent designer and an interior design team. Not only will you enjoy the splendor of a fabulous home, you will find a greater return on the money you spend for these services at the time of resale. Kitchen. Most buyers don't complain about a kitchen being too large, too much counter space, or too many cabinets. Spend money on the kitchen. We'll talk more about this topic later. Family room. Oversize. Don't undersize your family room. Families tend to gather and spend most of their time in the family room. If you were to oversize any room, make this room a little larger rather than smaller than you think you need. Master bath. This room is the owner's retreat, a place to relax and unwind. Upgrade your master bath size and finishes. When you sell your home, this will be an important feature and provide a good investment return. Room size. Make sure your rooms are large enough to meet your needs. It's very expensive to come back after your home is finished and add 12 or 18 inches to a room because you've just realized it's too small. If you're on a limited budget, it's better to hold off on some of the finishes than cut down the size of your rooms. You can add finishes later, and the cost may only be slightly higher than if you install them during the initial construction process. Closets. Never underestimate the value of roomy walk-in closets, linen closets, and laundry rooms. The bottom line, invest your money in the 7 places that matter most, and you will experience great value for years to come. Chapter 7. What's so important about the kitchen anyway? When a couple buys or builds a home, they always seem to pay a lot of attention to the kitchen. With most couples, there's usually one person who loves to cook. Most often it's the woman. But for everyone, male or female, young or old, the kitchen is one of the most important rooms in the house. The kitchen is often the hub of the home, the center of activity. Someone spends time preparing food, creating something fun, or trying a new recipe in it. People tend to gather where there's food. So don't miss this. Kitchens are important. Men sometimes underestimate the importance of this room. We love our garages, grills, decks, and patios, but the kitchen? We can completely miss its importance. It's important to remember when you are designing a home to consider the resale value and design accordingly. A well-designed and functional kitchen not only makes the cook happy, it also ensures a greater resale value. A person who loves to cook or create culinary masterpieces for family and friends absolutely needs a spacious and well-appointed kitchen. On the other hand, If a cook wants to spend as little time as possible in the kitchen, then your design and layout can be simpler. Kathy doesn't spend much time in her kitchen, but she likes the spacious layout so she and her husband can be there together. Kathy says the chopping and stirring are more enjoyable with her husband there. Additionally, he likes the organization of a well-planned room. When selecting kitchen cabinets, look for quality. This is not the place to be overly consumed with trying to save money. Well-made cabinets will provide lasting pleasure and functionality for decades. Drawers, as opposed to cabinets with doors, are more useful and efficient even compared to cabinets with pull-out drawers. In addition, choose hard surface, durable, and high-quality countertops. There are a variety of colors and selections available. Granite is an ideal countersurface for the most important room in the house. What about appliances? Don't skimp here either. You don't have to purchase the absolute top of the line, but good quality appliances help sell homes. Today it's becoming very popular to have 2 dishwashers. Often the cost of an additional dishwasher is only slightly more than the cost of the additional cabinetry it replaces. In order to make the most important room in your house spectacular, consider adding some of these other features: warming drawers, double ovens, convection microwaves, pot fillers, espresso and coffee bars, hidden pantries, elevated dishwashers for easy access, vegetable sinks in the island in addition to the main sink, instant hot water dispensers, and purified water faucets. When you design your home, be sure the kitchen is given special consideration and that its relationship to other rooms, functions, and features are the best you can provide. It will make a difference for years to come. The bottom line: don't treat your kitchen like any other room in your home. This is one room that deserves special treatment. Chapter 8. Needs versus Wants. How to use the design outline to prioritize yours. One of the best things a homeowner can do is to thoughtfully consider the difference between needs and wants. It's more difficult than it sounds. For example, something that is considered a need to one family member may not be viewed that way by another. Sorting between needs and wants can sometimes be contentious. Take Tim and Sherry, for instance. They debated for 45 minutes on whether or not they wanted a formal living room. Sherry, who was raised in a home that frequently entertained guests, considered it a need. Tim, whose idea of entertaining guests was to take them to the game room, did not consider it a need. In fact, Tim felt a formal living room would be largely wasted space. Discussions like these are far from unusual when building a custom home. They are normal, even essential. I encourage couples and families to have these discussions as soon as possible so that decisions can be made before a lot of design work is done. But how can you have those discussions and make them productive and even enjoyable? By using a simple tool called the design outline. The design outline is an excellent tool to help you define your needs and wants in the home building process. This exercise takes less than 30 minutes to complete, but it can save you countless hours and thousands of dollars. Here's how it works. First, you and your spouse, independently of each other, each take a blank sheet of paper and write down all of your dreams, wants, and needs for your new home, in no particular order. 2. Then rank your items in order of importance, starting with number 1, 2, 3, etc. It's not as important to agonize over whether item 2 goes before item 3 or 3 before 2. Sometimes wants or needs can be equally important to you. What's important here is that number 3 and number 28 are not reversed. Know what you want. 3. Once you and your spouse have independently ranked your items, the two of you meet together to share and compare your lists. Then create one combined list, ranking your needs and wants in order. This will become your master list. The combined needs-wants list will save time, energy, and money when you meet with your builder to determine the cost of your new dream home. At some point, your desired budget will need to line up with your desired wants. Your builder can review this combined list and your budget and let you know what items your budget can afford. If you have items that are not included in the budget, your builder can estimate a cost so you can make an informed decision on whether or not you want to increase your original budget. The design outline can be a tremendously effective tool to help you determine costs long before you spend money on design or construction of your new custom home. You can use the design outline with any builder anywhere in the country. When you begin the process by using the outline, you'll be way ahead of the game. Take a look at the design outline. The bottom line. Take 30 minutes and complete the design outline. It's fun, and it can save you countless hours and thousands of dollars. Chapter 9. Should I use a fixed price or cost-plus contract? Part 1. Fixed price. A fixed-price contract is one in which the plans, specifications, and all of the materials and finishes are fully determined, fixed, before you start construction on your new home. A cost-plus contract takes all the costs of the home and adds either a percentage of costs or a flat fee for the builder's overhead and management fee. Either a fixed price or a cost-plus contract can be used successfully in building a custom home. It depends on what you're most comfortable with. The builder's costs are the same whether he uses a fixed price or cost-plus contract. However, the price you'll pay will differ because of the risk associated with each type of contract. Let's start by looking at a fixed-price contract. The advantage of a fixed-price contract is that the price you pay for your home will be predetermined, fixed, whether or not the price of material and labor goes up or down. The builder assumes full responsibility for all risks associated with the cost of your new home. The downside is that you'll pay more for your builder taking on that risk. On a fixed-price contract, the builder assumes responsibility for all risks associated with the fluctuation in costs. Of course, costs are always changing. From the time you sign your contract to the completion of the work, the actual costs will change, sometimes up, sometimes down. If labor and material go down from the time you sign the contract until the job is complete, the builder benefits. If the cost of labor and material go up during the construction period, the builder absorbs the loss. Another factor in pricing a home with a fixed-price contract involves the Fright Factor. Will the homeowners change their demeanor once construction begins? No one has ever built a perfect home without some sort of scratch or blemish on it. Any builder can walk into any home in America and find something that's wrong. Anyone can take a magnifying glass and find scratches on any window on any newly built home in America. Therefore, builders need to charge clients for fright. If the builder gets to the final walkthrough with a homeowner who takes out a magnifying glass and searches every square inch of every window pane in the house, finds a scratch, and wants every scratched window replaced at the builder's expense, the builder had better have fright included in his initial calculations. With a fixed-price contract, the cost of repairing or replacing any and every item that has even a tiny imperfection is all the builder's responsibility. Generally, people with a fixed-price contract are more inclined to expect imperfect minor items to be replaced because it doesn't cost them extra. To be clear, we're not talking about shoddy workmanship. We're talking about the gray areas of requests that are unreasonable based on industry standards. In general, people who do well with a fixed-price contract are people who are not willing to risk price fluctuations. They are more comfortable knowing their exact cost and are willing to pay a small premium for this comfort. In the next chapter, we'll cover the cost-plus contract. The bottom line. Choose a fixed-price contract if you are willing to pay a small premium for locking in the total cost of your contract. Chapter 10. Should I use a fixed price or cost-plus contract? Part 2. Cost-plus. A cost-plus contract differs from a fixed-price contract in that it takes the actual cost of building the home and adds a fee for the builder's overhead and management. This fee can be either a lump sum, flat fee, or a percentage of total costs. Of course, neither you nor your builder will know the exact bottom line for the building costs until the final accounting is completed shortly after closing. A good builder will give you an accurate cost estimate, but it's exactly that, an estimate, until the final accounting. With a cost-plus contract, you'll pay the actual costs for all labor and material, plus the builder's fee. A cost-plus contract can be advantageous when building larger custom homes with finish levels and other things changing during the process. With the cost-plus basis, the homeowners know their actual costs on an ongoing basis. They can determine where they will appropriate their funds early in the construction process and receive a full accounting disclosure of all costs. If they elect to pull out a magnifying glass to search for scratches in all the panes of glass, they can choose to have those panes of glass replaced at their cost. Usually, doing business on a cost-plus basis keeps the magnifying glass in the drawer. It doesn't mean the builder builds with less care or quality. It just puts the homeowner and the builder on the same team. A cost-plus contract provides the synergy of identifying problems and determining win-win solutions that are in the best interests of the homeowner. If you trust that your builder is competent and is working on your behalf, and if you are comfortable not knowing your exact total costs until the end of the project, then a cost-plus contract may be best for you. Your final cost will depend on the choices you make. Your builder will charge a smaller management fee on a cost-plus basis because he assumes less risk. Both fixed price and cost-plus contracts are successfully used in building new custom homes. You can decide which one works best for you. The bottom line: choose a cost-plus contract if you are comfortable knowing your end cost will be determined by the choices you make, and you know you have a trustworthy builder. Chapter 11. Don't even begin designing your home until you've done this. There is an ancient proverb that says, "Suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Will he not first sit down and estimate the cost to see if he has enough money to complete it?" I suppose it's because I'm a builder, but I can relate to this bit of wisdom. It's a rhetorical question, of course. Who wouldn't first estimate the cost? In reality, it sometimes amazes me to meet with people who are ready to build a new custom home, but they have no idea what they want or how much they can spend on it. Stop right here. It's crucial, before beginning the design-build process, to determine what you can afford. People who need financing assistance should talk to an experienced professional mortgage lender who can help determine what they can comfortably afford. This process will take into account your income, expenses, credit, assets, interest rate, taxes, insurance, maintenance, and utilities. Sadly, people who begin the design process without first counting the cost often design to their dreams, only to find out later that they have far exceeded what they can afford. They end up mad, sad, or extremely frustrated. Instead, we first want our homeowners to realistically determine what they can afford. Then we work hard to design a quality custom home, a complete package that's 5 to 10% below their target number. We know from experience that changes may occur during the building process. For instance, a homeowner may upgrade the finishes as the construction process unfolds, or other variables may arise that would add to the cost of their home. If we start with a number that is below their budget, we can end up at the desired budget. The bottom line: know what you can afford before you begin. Chapter 12. Buy a plan or custom design? Read this before you decide. Should you buy a ready-made plan for constructing your new home? It depends. If you have a large lot that doesn't have restrictive setbacks, then finding and buying a ready-made plan may work well for you. It's important to know that most plans you find in a plan book are designed for specific lot sizes and regular-shaped lots. If your lot is long and narrow, and the plan is designed for a lot that's narrow and long, just the opposite, you could have a problem. Sometimes people will use the cut-and-paste method. A couple will take a plan from a plan book and cut and paste it to make it fit their lot. Be careful with this method. Judy was a woman whose cut-and-paste plan didn't work out the way she'd planned. It required you to walk through one bedroom to get to another bedroom. If you can find a plan that fits on your lot with little or no changes, it may be a good option for you. However, very few people are completely happy with a design they find in a plan book without making minor to major modifications. If you are thinking about buying a ready-made plan and just shrinking it, it almost certainly will not work. Most good custom home builders have successfully built homes from ready-made plans. Typically, they purchase the rights for the plan, make any needed modifications, and proceed to build the house. Be aware that ready-made plans are copyrighted. Your builder can purchase the rights for the plan, but be sure this step is not overlooked. You can get into real trouble down the road if you shortcut this step. For people who don't choose a standard plan, some builders offer a complete design-build package. Usually this process starts by evaluating the shape of the lot. It's important to take into account its positive and negative features. The builder then takes the homeowner's completed list of their prioritized needs and wants and begins the design process. At your initial meeting with the builder, it's an important step to review the design and to ensure the designer and homeowner have a complete and thorough understanding of needs, wants, and budget. Once the builder has clearly identified your objectives, they can work with the designer to create a unique, quality custom home, the home of your dreams. As a builder, I've found that it doesn't necessarily cost any more, and often we've discovered cost savings by first focusing on and designing what our homeowners most need, while also taking into account what they want. In doing so, we've found great success because the process allows us to optimize the conditions of the specific and unique lot instead of having to work from an existing design by enlarging or shrinking areas in the home. With clear objectives and a good plan, you can focus your energy and resources on your unique needs for your new home. The bottom line: if you can find a ready-made plan that requires few or no changes and you just love it, then you may want to consider purchasing a buyer-ready plan. If not, don't make the mistake of cutting and pasting. Chapter 13. Surprises that could inflate your custom home cost. Early in the design process, your builder should work with you to create an estimated line item budget for your home. Each item, landscaping, appliances, flooring, etc., should be listed separately with a corresponding dollar amount, allowance. The line item budget should make sense to you, and the numbers should be in line with the general caliber of work you've seen in other homes this builder has completed. Interestingly, an allowance, or budget, can be your friend, or it can be your worst enemy. Good, honest, quality builders may lose jobs to the competition because they establish a realistic allowance that truly reflects the scope of the entire job. Conversely, many builders will establish low allowances that are insufficient to build the home with the quality expected. Be wary of a budget that seems too good to be true. You could be talking to an unscrupulous builder who says whatever he has to say to get your business. Allowances are established by builders because selections are not always made prior to the commencement of building a new home. If a builder provides an estimate for a new home and purposely or unknowingly lists allowances that are not sufficient for the quality expected, the initial bid can be thousands, if not tens of thousands less than an honest builder's proposal. The last thing anyone needs is to be in the middle of construction with insufficient allowances to complete the home. A good, quality builder will put a lot of effort into listening to what a homeowner values and then designing a complete home package to meet those needs. He will try to establish budgets, allowances, that allow the homeowners to select items that are in line with the level of quality they want for their home. One of the biggest challenges for a homeowner and a builder is to identify a sufficient allowance and how all those numbers and allowances play into an overall budget. A major key to a successful project is to take the desired overall budget, consider the needs and wants of the homeowner, and create and execute a home that the homeowner will be happy with for years to come. After listening to the needs of the homeowners, a builder will establish allowances that are appropriate for that home. After that, you should do some shopping at selected vendors before you sign a contract. This will allow you to get a sense as to whether the allowances are sufficient. If the allowances are not sufficient, you either have to raise the overall budget or reduce allowances or features in other parts of the home. It's important to do this before construction begins. If determining allowances happens after construction begins, it leaves room for misunderstanding and frustration. The bottom line: know what your allowances will buy for your new home before you sign a contract. Chapter 14. Design your new home with resale in mind. Who thinks about resale value when building a home? While it may seem odd for a person who's building a new home to think about selling it, it's important to address what you want and what the market wants even in the initial planning stages. If you're not careful, you may design your dream home and find that no one else will buy it later. Most people who build custom homes are financially sound. For the most part, they are able to build beautiful, quality homes because they've been making good financial decisions for many years. As you go through your design process, be certain you get wise counsel from your builder, designer, and possibly a real estate salesperson to be sure you're not building a home that only your family will like. Balance your wants and needs for the home of your dreams with potential market appeal for future resale. You're probably not building your dream home as a spec home, a home without an end buyer before construction begins, generally built with an intended profit. So be careful not to include design features that are not what the broad market is asking for. An experienced builder will guide you through the design process and help protect your investment. Once you have the facts, it's your responsibility to make your own design decisions. If you proceed to design and build a home that only appeals to a very narrow market, then at least you are aware of that and the consequences in the early stages of the design process. Sometimes homes linger on the market for a long time because a homeowner made design decisions without taking into account the long-term resale effects. The bottom line: find the balance between what you want and what the market wants. Chapter 15. You're going to live here how long? If you ask someone who is ready to build a new home, they will often tell you that, "This is the last home I will ever build. They will have to bury me in the backyard." Recent surveys show that most people live in their home an average of 5 years, and you're probably not much different. You may be thinking, "But this really is going to be my last home." And if it is, that's great, but you may want to consider the reality of averages. Susan took more than a year to design her new home for her family, only to discover she was way over budget. She also realized that by the time she completed her home construction, all but one of her 5 children would be away at college, and she had designed bedrooms for each of them. Reality finally dawned on her. Within a few short years, she and her husband would be empty nesters. Designing her home for a family of 7, thinking this would be her home for the rest of her life, didn't fit the reality of Susan's imminent transition to a home for 2. When designing your custom home, first design for your immediate needs. Second, take into account what market conditions will allow for your particular home design. Third, give strong consideration to how long you may live in your home. Susan may shift gears and design a home that's perfect for her family's needs for the next 5 to 7 years, with a plan to downsize at that time. With this more realistic outlook, she may give additional consideration to the resale value of her choices. Don't make the mistake of over-designing a home that may become obsolete for your family within a short period of time. The bottom line: be realistic about your short-term and long-term needs and how long you will live in your home, and design accordingly. Chapter 16. Should I hire an attorney? Some people just feel better if their attorney reviews the construction contract, and that's okay. If you do this, be sure you hire someone who knows the real estate and construction business and will complement the process. Monica loved to stop by and watch the construction going on just a few doors down from her home. She was very observant and noticed the quality of workmanship and materials. Monica not only knew the homeowner, she knew a number of my previous homeowners. As Monica and I got to know each other, we began planning to build her a custom home. We spent many hours and numerous meetings designing the ideal plan for her lot. Finally, 2.5 years later, after 3 redos of her design, we were ready to build. 3 days before the closing date on her loan, signaling the beginning of construction, Monica called me to say her attorney had reviewed my contract and advised that it needed to be completely rewritten. I told Monica I'd been using this contract for many years and had never experienced a request like this. I suggested she ask her attorney for specific comments and told her I was confident we could work through the issues. Monica agreed and said she would get back to me. The day before the scheduled closing, I received an email from Monica stating that based on her attorney's advice, she would not be building with me. Obviously, I was surprised. A few days later, I met with Monica, and she affirmed that she would not be building with me. I told her I was disappointed because we'd been working well together for almost 3 years. I had counseled her through obstacles, given her professional advice, and taken her through 3 design changes, all successfully. It was very disconcerting now, after all that, to learn that her attorney was counseling her not to proceed without even a willingness to discuss specific points. Unfortunately, Monica received some bad advice from her attorney. By insisting on an entire rewrite of the contract a few days before closing, he didn't serve his client well. Monica eventually built her home with another builder. It was close to my neighborhood, so every few months I would drive past the project. A good builder can tell without ever speaking to anyone whether a project is going well or not. By seeing the progress over the months, I observed that the project took 6 or 7 months longer than anticipated. It didn't seem to be a good experience for the builder or for Monica. I'm not bashing attorneys here. Some of my best friends are attorneys. In fact, I have a great attorney, but he provides essential advice that complements who I am and what I do. He helps me design win-win agreements, not win-lose or lose-lose situations. If you hire an attorney, be sure to hire someone with construction and real estate experience, not a general practice attorney who counsels on personal business, family trusts, estates, etc. The bottom line: hire an attorney to review your contract if it makes you feel better. Just be certain to hire one who helps you and not hinders you. Chapter 17. How much do you charge per square foot? Building a custom home is a bit like buying a new car, right? Not exactly. If you ask a car dealer how much he charges per pound, you'd get some very strange looks. Of course, there is some correlation between the cost of the car and its weight, but not significant enough to prompt that question. We all know car dealers don't sell by the pound. In the same way, I feel perplexed when someone asks me how much I charge per square foot to build a home. It's not the right question. There are 3 factors that contribute to the cost of a home, regardless of where it's built: complexity, level of finish, and size and components. First, complexity. A home with more features and greater complexity requires more labor and therefore costs more to build. For example, a rectangular house with 4 basic corners is less expensive to build than a 3-story home with 40 corners, angled walls, and steep roofs, because the latter is more complex and takes more time to complete. Second, level of finish. Obviously, vinyl flooring is much less expensive than wood or stone. Formica countertops are less expensive than granite. 12-inch baseboards cost more than 6-inch baseboards, and a lot of molding is more expensive than no molding at all. The level of finish you choose for your home will have a significant impact on the home's final cost. And third, size and components. Size matters in home building costs. A 6,000 square foot home will cost more than a 2,000 square foot home. A 2,000 square foot home would probably include a 2-car garage, while a 6,000 square foot home normally has 3 or 4 bays. So not only does the larger home cost more due to the size of the heated and air-conditioned space, but it also takes into account things like garages, number and size of porches, whether the home has a pool, boat dock, circular drive, and other costly components. It's a good idea to ask a builder what price range per square foot he builds at, in order to know if you're talking with the right builder. The bottom line: don't go to a Chevy dealership if you want to buy a Lexus. Chapter 18. Welcome to Art Class. Create a Dream Home Notebook. Now you get to have some fun. While you continue to dream about the possibilities for your new custom home, let's create a Dream Home Notebook. Gather some magazines and tear out pictures of features you really like or want in your home, and just like you did in art class, start collecting them in a notebook. You may also want to take photos of features in other homes you've walked through. Model homes, friends, or neighbors' homes can be a great source of ideas. Write on each picture specifically what it is you like about it. Why did you tear it out? People often begin collecting pictures, but months later they can't recall why they tore it out in the first place. Write it down. Creating your dream home notebook can be an inspiring and enjoyable activity, and it will be very helpful to your builder and design team. As you accumulate more and more pictures, begin to categorize them. Here are some suggestions for your categories. 1. Exterior features. 2. Kitchen features. 3. Master bathroom and bedroom. 4. Common living spaces. 5. Specialty items such as fireplaces, mantels, trim details, paint colors, etc. 6. Colors, textures, styles. 7. Any floor plan that interests you. Write down what interests you about a particular plan. It may be the relationship of rooms, the uniqueness of design, or even a small feature like a hidden pantry or a workstation for mom. 8. Things you specifically don't like. And 9. Your written notes. Sometimes it can be difficult to express what you like and don't like in a new home feature, so the Dream Home Notebook is a helpful resource in the planning process. The saying, "A picture's worth 1,000 words," also applies to the development of your custom home design. An experienced builder can look at the pictures and listen to the conversation, and often read between the lines, to help you better articulate what you are thinking, but are unable to put into words. It's also helpful to write down your expectations. You may want to include stories, good and bad, of what your friends have gone through in their home building experience. Also, write down the elements in your home that are important to you. When you finally meet with your builder, you will have a well-organized, thoughtful notebook to share, which will help tremendously in your design and building process. The bottom line: cut out or take pictures for your dream home and organize them in a single place, along with your notes on what you really want. Chapter 19. Close enough to perfect? Identifying expectations. A home builder's goal is to create a well-built, attractive home that meets the needs of the homeowners. But how close to perfect does the finished product need to be? What about imperfections or flaws? Brian doesn't care about details, while George is extremely particular and wants every single blemish erased. Every single one. What about you? What are your expectations for what you will and will not accept when your home is finally completed? This is definitely something you and your builder need to discuss. Here's what I often do. I make an appointment to meet the new prospective homeowner at one of our recently completed homes. I have a very defined plan to walk through this new home together and thoroughly inspect all aspects of the home. We take about 1 hour of uninterrupted private time without the owner present. The reason I don't want the owner present is because I found that if the owner is there, the prospective homeowner is reluctant to look very closely at the fine details. I meet the prospective homeowners at the newly built home and start the inspection in the foyer. As I point out the features, I ask a very specific question. If we were standing here a year from today and we were doing the final walkthrough on your new home, would this meet your expectations? Usually, my wide-eyed prospective homeowners nod affirmatively. Before I move on to the next room, I take a moment and encourage them to look closely at the finish. I tell them that a paint job can never be perfect. I may find a blemish or two on the walls or in the trim work. Then I ask again, would a paint job with these imperfections meet your expectations? Usually they say yes. Then I ask them to rub their hands over the trim work to feel for smoothness and any imperfections. I'm actually looking for some imperfections in the paint job because I want to clearly identify their expectations. After we discuss the paint finish, we move on to trim work. From trim work, we move to drywall. From drywall, we move to flooring, and on it goes throughout the house. Then we walk into the living room where the same process takes place. I ask the prospective homeowner the same question. If this was your living room, aside from the paint colors and selections of materials, would this living room and the quality of the workmanship meet your expectations? This process is very important. The last thing you or your builder want is to find yourself a year or 18 months into the building of your new custom home, only to discover that each of you had different expectations. I make it a point during the interview process to be sure we have clear expectations of what is or is not acceptable for the quality of the end product, your custom home. By doing so, both parties can avoid unmet expectations, frustration, anger, or even a lawsuit. The bottom line: schedule a 1-hour private showing of a home your builder has recently completed. Tell your builder whether the quality meets your expectations or not. Chapter 20: The Terrible Truth About Building Beyond Your Means. Sometimes homeowners want to build a home that doesn't seem to be affordable for them. It's well beyond their means. That's a tough situation for me because if I build the home the way they want, I know they'll regret it. On the other hand, if I don't, they won't be happy with me. In fact, I've sometimes lost building opportunities simply because I want to be straight with people when it appears they're pushing the envelope of costs. Of course, I know I'm not my client's keeper regarding how they spend their money. But as a professional who values integrity, I believe I have a responsibility to share the cold, hard facts of the large investment they will be making in building a home. Some people begin the design process with a realistic budget that's within their means. But as the process moves along, it can begin to get out of hand. If you've purchased a new car recently, you know what I mean. Say, for example, you want to get a nice car and you decide your budget is $30,000. Once on the lot, you see the base price on a model you like is $34,000. Well, it's only a few thousand more, you think. But then you start noticing some of the options. You really like the upgraded 10-disc CD changer, only another $1,000. And it's just $19.80 a month more on your monthly payment. Of course, then you see other cool things like the GPS navigation system, the backup camera, and the premier audio system, so you add another $6,000. You also decide to upgrade from the standard leather package to the heated and cooled comfort leather seats. That adds $2,160, but it's so incredible. Then you discover the satellite radio system and add $486. Finally, you decide to add a sunroof, custom paint, and upgraded tires. You get the picture? In a matter of minutes, your $34,000 car became a $45,000 car. And remember, you started out looking for a car that would cost $30,000. That's what it's like for some homeowners who design and build a home. Construction hasn't even started, and already they've added options and selections to their home beyond the original plan. Sometimes people stretch and stretch financially to build their new home, and by the time construction begins, they're under so much stress that when we have an opportunity to add a nice feature to their home, something as simple as additional crown molding, they are completely stressed out because of a few $100 decision. That's often because they didn't discipline themselves to stick to a reasonable budget. Please don't build a dream home you will have to sell before you even move in because you can't afford it. Be sure you have a builder who will help guide you through this process with honesty and professionalism. If I notice that costs are beginning to exceed the homeowner's budget, I tell them that it is my responsibility to communicate this to them. The final choice is up to the homeowner. Ultimately, I want them to be happy and financially healthy with their finished dream home. The bottom line: build within your means so your dream home doesn't become a financial nightmare. Chapter 21: The Hidden Pot of Gold in Your Pocket. When I work with people on a home building project, sometimes couples come to me with a maximum budget for building their new home. They plan a budget for the lot, the home, and architecture, a complete package. When I review it with them, I spend a considerable amount of time listening, asking questions, and working to meet their particular budget. I want to make sure we maximize their investment. Many times, however, I'd work fervently to create a design, size, and features to meet the homeowner's needs and wants within the budget they presented, only to find out later that they had a hidden pot of gold in their pocket. They had more to spend than they let on originally. That approach has always seemed counterproductive to me. After spending countless hours working to meet their budget, and then learning the couple actually has an additional amount to spend, we essentially have to go back to the drawing board to start the design process all over again. Not only is it frustrating, it also sets the construction schedule back. So if they thought they'd be in their new home by Thanksgiving, it would now be closer to Valentine's Day. After this hidden amount situation happened to me several times, I started telling my homeowners this true story. When I first got out of college, I was ready to purchase my first vehicle. I went to the car lot and told the car salesman I wanted to spend no more than $10,000 for a vehicle. He said, "Great, come out to the lot and I'll show you what I have." I followed him out, and when he showed me the first car, he said, "Now here's one for $11,500. I looked at him in complete disbelief. I thought, "Did you not hear me? My budget is $10,000. I was thinking he'd start me somewhere in the $8,000 or $8,500 range, so that by the time I paid for tax, title, car handling fee, and other options, I'd end up at my budget of $10,000. Admittedly, I was young and naive and didn't know about slick salesmen. I did end up buying a car from him because I didn't know any better, but it gave me a bad taste in my mouth. I told myself then that if I ever had the opportunity to sell someone a product or a service, I'd never sell that way. I tell homeowners this story because I finally realized they may think I'm a slick car salesman. So I tell them I treat their money like it's my own. I will honor and take seriously the budget they give me. That's why I need the budget to be accurate with no mysterious pot of gold showing up later. If you trust your builder, give him your real budget at the beginning of the process. If you don't trust your builder, then you shouldn't be working with him anyway. The bottom line: hire a respected builder, then trust him with your real budget. Chapter 22. Choices, Choices, Choices. Choose before you lose. I strongly recommend making your selections before construction begins on your new custom home. Color, cabinets, plumbing, hardware, paint, and more. Yes, all selections. Before I learned how important this was, I noticed that homeowners often seemed unable to make selection decisions in a timely manner. Indecision messes up the deadlines, stalls the project, and can greatly frustrate both builder and homeowner. Randy is a good example. I gave Randy deadlines for his selections, and every single deadline was missed. When it was time to make his paint selection, he asked me, "Well, when do you need it?" I said I needed it 2 weeks ago, and he said, "But when do you absolutely really have to have it?" I told him Friday, and he promised me he would have the paint selected by Friday. Well, Friday came and went with no paint selection. I called Randy on Monday, and he told me he had an emergency, which prevented him from making his paint selection, but he would have it to me by Wednesday. At about 4 p.m. on Wednesday, Randy showed up and began to put samples on the wall, only to find out he needed more samples to compare to his original samples. The next day, more paint samples went up. Another Friday passed, and Randy said he was having a difficult time making a decision. In the meantime, we had already completed the drywall, and work on the home was at a standstill. The process had lost momentum. I was frustrated. Randy was frustrated. Randy's wife was frustrated, and the painter was frustrated. Even the cabinet man was frustrated because now his schedule was delayed. Everyone was frustrated, and all the work had stopped. The painter wasn't sure he wanted to sign up for my next job, and my reputation as a builder started to get a little shaky. If you've ever built a home, you know it can be very frustrating and time-consuming without the help of an interior designer. You take your paint color chip along with your carpet sample and drive across town trying to match your tile with a designer deco piece for your shower. Then you take those samples to the granite supply yard, drive back across town to a cabinet supply house, and swing over to the lighting store. Along the way, you're bombarded with a plethora of opinions from all of the people working at all of those stores. It's not only confusing, it's exhausting. If your builder does not have an in-house design team to help you in your selection process, then at least retain a competent interior designer who complements your style. And as difficult as it may be to make your selections before you begin your home, do it for your benefit, your spouse's benefit, your family's benefit, and for the benefit of the builders and your relationship. If you do this before the construction begins, the only thing you'll need to select after that is your toothbrush. You'll be able to enjoy the building process, and your builder can build your new home more effectively. The bottom line: for a more enjoyable, not to mention saner, building experience, make all your selections before construction begins. Chapter 23. The startling step most new homeowners fail to take. Obtaining feedback from previous homeowners is critical to selecting the right builder for your new custom home. It's a good idea for you to call a builder's previous homeowners to ask how he performed with their project. It's important to ask what the builder did very well and what some of their weaknesses were. Of course, it's important to realize that one builder can't be all things to all people. Each builder will have some strong points, but they will also have some limitations as well. If you are looking for the perfect builder, I've got some bad news for you. One does not exist. However, if you're looking for a builder who's committed to excellence and integrity and builds quality custom homes, then such builders do exist. Every builder has a unique background and unique strengths and limitations. Look for the things that matter: experience, excellence, integrity. Quality custom home builders know their own strengths and limitations. They don't shy away from them, but they work through them and provide excellent service and an excellent home, though not a perfect one. Here are a few questions to ask a builder's previous homeowners. Did your builder finish your home on time? If not, why not? Did your home come in on budget? Was there ever a time you felt your builder was being untruthful? Did your builder communicate to you clearly if there were any additional charges that you would incur? What are your builder's best qualities? What are some of your builder's weaknesses and limitations? And the most important question: would you have your builder build for you again the next time? The bottom line: talk to the builder's previous homeowners to understand their strengths and limitations. Also remember that no builder is perfect. Chapter 24. Will I go over budget? If you're like most people, yes, you will probably go over your budget. On the way home from work, I occasionally stop at the grocery store just to pick up a couple of quick items. As I get out of the car, I'm thinking, I'll be in and out in 5 minutes. 20 minutes later, I'm standing in the checkout line, my arms filled with items I never intended to buy. The watermelon was on sale. The blueberries were a 2-for-1 special. There's a new brand of chips that looks delicious, and on it goes. Now I'm standing in line with my arms and fingers filled with items, wondering what I came here for in the first place. Oh yes, a gallon of milk and bananas. I have to set the items down and run back to the dairy department because I forgot the milk. Does any of this sound familiar? Most likely you've been there before. The same thing can happen with the new home building process if you're not careful. As you shop for the latest and greatest appliances, you may find it enticing to upgrade. After all, it's only another $840, and the carpet is only $2 more per square yard than your budget planned. Then you decide that you really need nicer plumbing fixtures, upgraded light fixtures, and so on. I've found that it doesn't matter how high the budget is we help establish for our homeowners. If you're not careful, you will quickly exceed your budget. If you have an appropriate electrical fixture allowance of $20,000, for example, and I increase it to $30,000, it's still easy to overspend. Here's what I know. Even if we bump up every budget by 30%, most people would spend more than their budget allowed. The bottom line: hire the right builder, establish a realistic, workable budget, and then determine if you are or are not going to stay within that budget. Chapter 25. Don't buy that lot. Call your builder first. People sometimes call me when they are almost ready to talk to a builder. They've been looking at lots and have narrowed their choice down to 2 or 3 options. As soon as they purchase their land, they want to talk with the builder to discuss the home they want to build on it. Instead of buying a lot first, we advise people to first talk to a builder. Request a meeting with your builder to look at the lots before you buy one. If you've never purchased a lot, and most people haven't, you could be walking into serious issues that you're unprepared to handle. Before you buy a lot, there are several things to consider. If you purchase land based primarily on price, you may discover unexpected additional costs and issues later on. Here are just a few items you need to know. Fill dirt may be needed that may cost thousands of dollars. Often it's necessary, especially on lakefront lots, to do soil testing to ensure that the soils are suitable to hold the home in place. Testing for the suitability of a septic system, if applicable, may need to be conducted. Often local health departments will increase their requirements for septic systems. Sometimes they require a mounded septic system, and that can be an unexpected additional cost. The homeowners may look at the lots adjacent to theirs and assume that the septic system can be placed below ground, only to find that a raised mound system is now required by the local municipality, and that can be very unsightly in the front yard. Local zoning requirements may have restrictions regarding the front, side, and rear setbacks that may be more limiting than a buyer realizes. Some municipalities have lot area coverage ratios. That means restrictions are placed on how large a home you can build on the lot. In some cases, there may be existing proposals to restrict lot coverage ratios. If you unknowingly have outdated information, you may be designing a home that is too large for your particular lot. You can spend 6 to 12 months designing a home only to discover that local municipality restrictions preclude the building of the home you just designed, and that may mean thousands of dollars of expenses and many months of wasted effort. Of course, this is just a short list of issues to consider before you buy a lot. I suggest you meet with an experienced professional builder before you sign on the dotted line to purchase your lot. Obtaining current, accurate information allows you to make an informed buying decision. The bottom line: talk to your builder first, buy the lot second. Chapter 26. How many bids should I get for my new home? Recently, I met with Ross at a lot where he was considering building a new home. About 25 minutes into the meeting, I noticed he was distracted by a car that had pulled up to the property. I asked Ross, "Are you expecting someone?" He told me he was meeting with 6 builders that day and requesting bids from all of them. As I wrapped up the final few minutes of our meeting, Ross asked if I could give him a bid on his new home. The plans weren't complete. There were a lot of items that needed to be corrected. The specifications, including the finishes, tile, cabinetry, countertops, etc., weren't even defined, but he still wanted a bid from me. I followed up with a letter to Ross affirming that I thought it was a good idea for him to interview 6 builders, but from my experience, getting 6 bids was counterproductive. When all the bids came back, there would be no common basis for him to compare what was or was not included in the bids. In other words, he would be comparing apples to oranges to potatoes to carrots to tomatoes, and this would only add to the confusion of an already involved process. I suggested that Ross narrow his scope down to 1 or 2 builders that he connected with and felt he could trust, like, and respect, and put focused energy in working through the details of his new home. A few days later, at a local builders meeting, I ran into Steve, the builder who had arrived after me at Ross's lot that day. I asked Steve about his meeting with Ross, and he said the project was too crowded for him. Ross had also asked Steve for a bid, and he was going to pass. I'm not advocating you only interview 1 or 2 builders, but I am suggesting you narrow your search down to 1 or 2 builders. When I know there are many builders competing for the same job, especially if the job doesn't have a clear defined focus, I decide to put my limited time and energy where I can be most effective. That's with people who have narrowed their scope, have a reasonably good idea of what they want, and who value what I value. Then we can put more concentrated effort in addressing their needs and concerns. Quality custom home builders often don't have to bid their jobs against other builders because from the onset they have made a connection with the homeowner, discussed their fee structure, and demonstrated their competency. As a result, they can give their homeowners focused service. This is important because it takes a tremendous amount of time, energy, and focus to execute the process of home building with excellence. The bottom line: interview builders first and select your builder based on trust and respect, not necessarily on the lowest bid. Chapter 27. Excellence or Perfection? A prospective homeowner once asked me, "Will my new home be perfect?" I told him there are two kinds of perfectionists. One who asks for perfection, but realizes life is not perfect and is very pleased with 95 to 98%. The other type expects perfection and is never happy, no matter how well a job is done. If you are the latter, please don't build a custom home. Life is too short and too wonderful to take 2 years or more out of your life only to be disappointed in people and processes that are not perfect. People build custom homes. People are not perfect. It doesn't mean you can't or shouldn't expect excellence. Here are a few ways that excellence differs from perfection. Excellence is taking people and materials that are imperfect and executing a process to its very highest level. Excellence is a home that's done on time. Excellence is what happens when something goes wrong and it's quickly recognized and corrected. Trust me, when you build a custom home, things will go wrong. Excellence is when your builder acknowledges his mistake and corrects it timely without pointing fingers. Excellence is clear communication. Excellence is a quality home built with straight walls, functioning doors, and overall good quality. Excellence is moving into your home and having your dishwasher, garbage disposal, and gas grill all operational on move-in day. Excellence is a phone call from your builder if something unexpected comes up and the schedule needs to be modified. Excellence is having a homeowner so pleased that when the topic of home building comes up, he says, "Let me tell you about my builder." Planning, designing, and building a new custom home for you and your family can be an exciting, rewarding experience if you select a competent builder who is committed to excellence and you have a clear understanding of each other's expectations. Home building can be a miserable experience if you are a perfectionist who is unhappy even if your builder builds to excellent standards. The bottom line, if you require perfection, don't build a custom home. Chapter 28. Why picking the right builder is half the battle. How important is it to choose a good builder? It's number one on the list. You will have a lot of decisions to make as you build your custom home, selecting colors and finishes, determining size and layout, and more. But no decision will impact your home building experience more than the all-important decision you'll make right at the start. You need to choose a great builder. The fact is, you can't do a good deal with a bad person. No matter how hard you work, you can't make a silk purse out of a sow's ear. The same is true with your builder. Here are the 3 most important qualities to look for in a builder for your custom home. First, trust. Building a new home is probably one of the largest investments a person will ever make. If you don't believe your builder has your best interests in mind, you're talking to the wrong builder. You want a builder who works on your behalf, not someone who is only looking out for his own interests. When you call your builder, will you get a straight answer? If something goes wrong on your job, do you trust your builder to make it right? Believe me, when you build a custom home, there will always be bumps in the road no matter which builder you select. There isn't a contract written yet that will cover every possible condition that you may encounter while building your new custom home. Ask yourself, what is your builder's intent? If his internal compass is pointing north, with intentions to do the right thing even when it's difficult, you're halfway there. Second, competence. Does your builder have the ability to see and execute your home from start to finish? Is he able to walk you through the concept and design stage to produce a home that will reflect your needs, wants, and lifestyle? Does he have the right interior design team to complement your taste and preference? Does he have the right office staff that will politely and professionally respond to your needs and questions? Does he have an on-time, competent construction team to oversee the building of your new custom home? Does your builder have systems and procedures in place that will allow him to execute the building of your home in an excellent way? Does your builder have a reputation and history in the community that speaks well of his business? And third, fair price. Does your builder charge a fair price? Most people start by looking at cost first. While price is certainly important, it's not nearly as critical as trust and competence. That's why I put this quality last. If you know your builder is charging you a fair price for his services, and if you know he is trustworthy and competent, look no further. You have found your builder. Hire him and begin to focus on how to make your dream home a reality. The bottom line: look for trust, competence, and fair pricing in selecting a builder to build your custom home. Chapter 29. What about storage? If you are like most Americans, you accumulate stuff. Stuff takes up space, sometimes a lot of space. Over the years, you may have accumulated things with sentimental value, seasonal items, decorations you use once a year, or extra playthings for those wonderful visits from the grandchildren. In the home building process, many people fail to take into account their need for storage, and if they do, they generally underestimate the amount of storage space they will need. In a new home design, people are generally willing to pay more for a home with adequate storage than a home with more finished space that's seldom used, for instance, extra bedrooms. Adding storage space can be accomplished in the early design stages if your builder knows this is a priority for you. The additional cost is minimal as long as your builder knows well ahead of time so he can direct the designer accordingly. If you live in the north, you know that most homes are built with basements, which are an excellent place for storage. However, for homes along the coast, basements are rare. Instead, attic spaces are often used. Some people want a separate structure, and storage sheds can be planned if requested. Another common storage solution is to create spacious walk-in storage closets within the home itself. It's easy to create storage space in a walk-in, easily accessible, partially finished attic. Access is often located on the second story, with entry from a common area such as a game room or shared space. If you're building a one-story home, a common place for storage is the attic space above the garage. Your builder can make changes to roof framing to allow for light storage and easy access above the garage. You should consider our country's demographics of an aging population and be sensitive to the safety of using a pull-down ladder to access attic space. Upgrading these access ladders to light commercial aluminum ladders is money well spent for the safety and ease of access for you and for any future homeowners. You can also design attic spaces above garages that have their own separate set of stairs. The stairs are much safer than pull-down ladders. They are often not carpeted and have a very simple handrail for safety. This is an additional value-added benefit, not only for the homeowner's safety, but also for resale value. It's important to think through your storage needs as you begin to design your new custom home. The bottom line: don't forget about storage. Tell your builder how much of a priority storage is to you, and look for opportunities to create inexpensive storage space. Chapter 30. How do you avoid a builder scam? We hear of new scams all the time. You can hardly pick up a newspaper these days without reading about some unscrupulous people devising a new scam to take advantage of unsuspecting people. While this may be true, it doesn't mean you have to become a victim. Knowing what signs to watch for can help keep you out of trouble. Pay attention to these warning signs. Too good to be true. When a builder gives you a price that sounds too good to be true, be wary. If a builder says yes to all of your questions, walk away. If you ask him if something is included in his price, and he always answers yes, be cautious. It can't all be included. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Too few references. If a builder is only willing to give you 2 or 3 references, you should wonder why. Any builder can give you a few references, although it may be his brother, cousin, and very best friend. Make sure the references you get are recent and credible. Rush to contract. If a builder is trying to get you to rush to sign a contract with him, you should see red flags waving and a caution light going off. Building a custom home is a big decision, and if you're rushed into signing something, you could be in for some big surprises later. Check online resources. There are online resources available where you can verify some important information on the builder. In some states, you can do online verification of a builder's credentials and license. Verify how long he has been in business, the tax ID number, search for liens, find out if their workers' compensation insurance is current, or has ever been canceled. Another good resource is your local Better Business Bureau. Vague specifications. If the specifications are vague, type of material, quality, and finishes for your home, and/or incomplete, ask that they be made specific. Vague specifications leave a lot of room for interpretation and are one way a scammer can argue later. If you sense your builder is being vague or giving you specifications that are incomplete, consider getting a bid from another reputable builder to compare the specifications from each builder. This will help you raise your level of confidence in the builder you choose, that he is being honest and forthright about what he is and what he isn't providing in his proposal for your new home. Insufficient allowances. One of the most common ways that a builder could present a price that is too good to be true is to knowingly or unknowingly include allowances that are insufficient to complete your home as you expect it. The allowances provided should mean something to you. You should have a good sense as to what your allowances will buy. In researching your allowances, if you find that the level of quality that the allowances provide are consistently less than what you and your builder discussed, be wary. A little healthy skepticism is a good thing. Respect and trust are earned, and you want your builder to earn your respect. If you have any suspicions at all that a builder is trying to scam you, do not sign a contract with him, even if it means you have to start all over again with another builder. When it comes to building your new home, trust is everything. The bottom line: make sure your builder earns your trust and respect before you sign a contract. Chapter 31, Financial Smarts, Part 1. Where do I start? When it comes to paying for your custom-built home, do you know where to find your financing? Many don't. Should you peruse the Sunday papers looking for the best deal or stop by your neighborhood bank to see their rates? Do you need a mortgage lender or a mortgage broker? When it comes to finding the right home financing plan, it's really all about dollars and cents. That's SENSE. First, let's define the difference between a mortgage lender and a mortgage broker. Most mortgage lenders can be found at a banking institution. Their services are provided as a bank service. A mortgage broker, on the other hand, charges fees to go out and find a lender for you based on your specific financial qualifications. As a custom home buyer, you should look for a loan officer who has experience in construction financing with the education and experience to match the banking institution. The best and most reputable lenders won't be found by scouring the Sunday papers to find the lowest rate. If you're seeking competitive rates among several lenders, don't just focus on the price. While one lender may offer a terrific rate, you may be sacrificing speed, service, or their ability to actually help you acquire a loan. The best place to start is to ask your builder who he uses. Like his vendors and subcontractors, he should be working with a reputable, competent loan officer. You may want to ask your friends for referrals as well. In these volatile market conditions, it's wise to have a trustworthy loan officer with sufficient experience to guide you down the path of one of the biggest financial decisions of your life. A good question to ask up front is whether the loan officer will be working with you during the entire process, or will you get passed off to another person in another department. Once you've narrowed your choice, you'll want to meet with your loan officer to determine what size loan you qualify for to build your custom home. You'll need to fill out a loan application that will focus on 3 key areas: your credit, your debt-to-income ratio, and your liquidity, assets, and retirement reserves. While the application can be filled out and sent back by email or fax, it's probably better to take the time and fill out the forms in person. Block off at least an hour to do this and answer any relevant questions your loan officer may have. This is where all of your time spent organizing and filing will pay off. You'll need to bring the most recent copies of pay stubs, your W-2 forms, and 2 previous years' tax returns. Also, bring your most recent statement of checking and savings accounts, retirement funds, IRA account information, and other assets that show your financial strength. Loan officers advise clients to disclose all of their assets on the application form to give the most flexibility in arranging loan approval. One of the items that will determine your ability to obtain a loan is your credit score. A credit score is a number that is determined by the three major credit reporting agencies, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, and is based on historic and current data that determines your credit risk. These numbers are not set by the mortgage lenders or by the banks. Your credit report is your financial thumbprint. Every purchase you've made, every bill you've paid or didn't pay, and every loan you've applied for, car, mortgage, etc., is logged on your credit report. A credit report is used to determine an individual's credit worthiness. Credit scores range from 300 to 850, and the higher your credit score, the more desirable you look to a financial institution for a loan. Keep in mind, the higher your credit score, the lower the interest rate you can probably get. It's a good idea to check your credit report before applying for a loan to check for any inaccuracies, especially if you have a common name. Before applying, you may also want to pay down as many debts as possible to help improve your income ratios. Also, the major credit bureaus offer services that will educate you on how to increase your credit scores. They are the experts. Remember, your debt-to-income ratio and credit score are important factors when qualifying for a mortgage loan. When you are ready to submit the completed application and supporting financial documents, you may be required to pay $300 to $500 to process your application with the lender. Once all of your financial documentation is turned in and reviewed, the loan officer will submit the application to the underwriter for approval. It usually takes 3 to 5 days to hear whether you've been approved or denied for the loan. An approved loan will usually come back with a capped interest rate for a specific period of time, 30, 60, or 90 days. Once you receive the call from your mortgage loan officer with the good news, you're on your way to the next step of the financial process. The bottom line: ask for referrals from your builder and friends to determine the best lender for your financial needs. Chapter 32. Financial Smarts, Part 2. What loan is right for me? Once you've been approved to receive a new loan to build your custom home, the next step is to determine the best loan for your needs. There are a variety of loans to choose from, each with their own set of rules and terms. Your loan officer can walk you through all of the options and help you choose the right one. If you're building a custom home, you'll want to consider a construction permanent loan. A construction permanent or construction perm loan has two phases: the construction phase and the permanent phase. The construction portion of the loan funds the construction activities during the building phase of your home. In this phase, you will make monthly payments based on how much money is drawn from the lender. As construction progresses, more money will be drawn from the loan. If you'd like to know just how much money is due and when, your mortgage lender can print out a spreadsheet detailing a fairly accurate estimate. With a construction permanent loan, there is one set of closing costs that are paid at the front end. During the construction phase, builders will typically receive a deposit when the contract is signed, and then will draw from the loan during the following stages: slab pour, or when the block basement is put in place, framing completion, drywall completion, cabinet completion, and the last draw will occur when the home is completely done. An independent inspector hired by the lender will come out to the construction site at each of these stages and check on the home's progress so the lender can release more money to the builder. Keep in mind, they will not check for quality, only to see if the builder is on schedule to receive payment. When construction is complete and a certificate of occupancy is issued, the loan modifies from a construction permanent loan to a permanent loan. At this time, monies for homeowners' insurance and property taxes are due into an escrow account. This usually ranges from 1.5 to 2% of your loan amount. Your lender will draw up the final papers that confirm the construction phase of the loan has ended and the permanent phase of the loan is beginning. The final check is made out to you and your builder for you to sign and hand over to the builder. However, you don't have to sign that check over until you are completely satisfied with your builder's work. There are typically no additional closing fees with the permanent loan. Another option to consider for a loan is using your builder's financing source. Some builders offer special financing packages. Be sure to ask your builder if you qualify for that option. Using a builder's financing can be just as effective as using a bank loan. Generally speaking, it's easiest and fastest to go with your builder's financing source if they are competitive in the market. But what if you're not building a custom home? What if your builder has a home that's already done and you'd like to buy it and move in immediately? This is the most common situation for homeowners. You will need an end loan. You can still determine whether you want to have a fixed, adjustable, or interest-only rate with an end loan. Be sure to talk with your mortgage lender about your expectations. The bottom line: determine the best loan for your financial needs after discussing the options with your loan officer. With so many programs and options available, choose the one that is right for you. Chapter 33, Financial Smarts, Part 3. Should I get a fixed, adjustable, or interest-only loan? Many new home buyers feel confused about all the options they have when it comes to loans. Which one is best, fixed, adjustable, or interest-only? A mortgage loan officer should be able to explain the benefits of each in detail. But here's a brief overview to get you started. Let's begin by looking at the advantages and disadvantages of the three most common types of loans. A fixed-rate loan has an unchanging rate for the life of the loan, 15, 20, 30, or even 40 years. Your payments will be the same set amount every month for the length of the loan. The fixed-rate loan is the most common type of loan available on the market today. The advantage is that you always know your monthly payment amount. The total of your principal and interest payment will never change. An adjustable rate loan is fixed for a certain amount of time. Then the rate resets and adjusts itself based on several market indexes and interest rate caps. Sometimes the rate adjusts up, sometimes it goes down. Most people understand this kind of loan is more risky, but there can be some benefits to choosing an adjustable mortgage loan. 1. If you plan on selling your home within 2 to 5 years, prior to your interest rate adjusting, this can be a good loan. 2. If you don't have much money now, but you expect your income will go up after several years, say from bonuses or commissions, and it will be easier to make higher payments then. 3. If you're only able to put a certain amount of money towards your housing budget. 4. If your financial creditworthiness doesn't allow you to qualify for a fixed-rate loan. Lastly, an interest-only loan means you only have to pay the interest that is due each month, and are not required to pay on the principal balance for a set amount of time. For example, on a 5-year interest-only loan, the amount you owe on your principal in the 5th year is, most likely, the same as when you first took out the loan. This type of loan works well for home buyers in 3 cases. First, if you intend to pay down the principal on your own terms. 2, if you plan on moving out of your home in a short period of time. And 3, if it's an appreciating real estate market. Note, the disadvantage is if you are in a depreciating market. Your home may be worth less than what you owe at the end of the loan term. The interest-only loan was designed for people who want to set their own terms and pay down the principal as they see fit. One word of caution: it takes a disciplined home buyer to correctly use an interest-only loan. The bottom line: determine the best terms for your financial needs after discussing the options with your loan officer. With so many programs and options available, choose the one that is right for you. Chapter 34, Financial Smarts, Part 4. How do I know what my closing costs will be? After determining the best loan program for your needs, your loan officer will draw up a 1-page document that lists all of the costs associated with the loan. This document is called a good faith estimate. The estimate lists all the charges you as a home buyer will have to pay at the time of closing. Don't be surprised if some fees are slightly higher or lower when you finally come to closing. Each lending institution has slightly different charges, which is why the document you are initially given is called an estimate. The good faith estimate is a requirement by all financial institutions as part of the Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act of 1974. If you don't receive one from your lender, be sure to ask. A typical good faith estimate includes all of the lender and underwriting fees, as well as other charges by the state or county. Each state is different, and prices vary around the country. Some lenders will waive certain fees if you ask, but some fees are locked and will not be removed. Usually, the first line on the good faith estimate is an application fee or deposit, that fee you already paid when you pre-qualified for a loan. Next are underwriting fees, which average around $500. If you choose a construction permanent loan, there will be several charges listed for inspections. Typically, the inspections cost $50 to $75 each, and you'll be required to have at least 4 to 5 during the construction phase. That adds up to around $450. Additional fees will be added for appraisals, and typically the lender will require at least 2. Title insurance is another requirement each home buyer will have to purchase. It protects the home buyer to make sure no one else can come and take the property from you. The title company will run checks on the title to make sure it's clear. If someone does try to claim the property, the title insurance policy protects the homeowner. Some states require documentary or documentation stamps. Documentary stamps are simply the state charging a percentage on your mortgage note. This is one of those charges that can't be removed from the good faith estimate. Another required payment to the state is intangible taxes. Intangible taxes are based on the mortgage amount. Both of these taxes have to be paid before a property is deemed legal. These costs are a small percentage of your loan amount. Other miscellaneous charges include recording fees by the county to record the home's deed and mortgage note. These usually cost around $200. If you are building a custom home, some lenders will require a survey of the land before construction can begin. There may be additional fees that come after the survey, depending on the condition of the land. This is not an exhaustive list of all the fees, but it will give you a quick snapshot of what it takes to close a loan. All of the costs on the good faith estimate are one-time fees and required to be paid by the homebuyer at the closing of your loan. If you are unfamiliar with any fee, have your lender explain them to you in detail. The bottom line. Be sure to ask for a written good faith estimate from your lender, outlining all of the fees associated with closing your home loan, and be certain to ask for an explanation of any items you do not understand. Chapter 35. What kind of warranty can I expect? An important question to ask your builder within the first few meetings is, what kind of warranty can I expect? You'll want to know if he provides the minimum warranty allowed by law, or if his reputation and written warranty exceed your expectations. Most builders provide a 1-year warranty on every home, but what's most important is what previous homeowners say about the warranty. The warranty can be an extension of marketing. It's a good idea to call the builder's previous homeowners and ask how your builder did with the warranty, and if there was anything he refused to do for them. Did he exceed expectations, not only during the warranty period, but did he also show a willingness to correct things beyond the warranty period? We can make choices to handle things that are not required, and for this reason, we continue to get referrals over and over again. When someone buys a Lexus and something goes wrong with their car one day after the warranty expires, there's a good chance the dealership will do whatever is necessary to keep the customer happy. After all, people who buy a Lexus have different expectations than people who buy a Hyundai or a Chevy. People spend their hard-earned money with us, and we work hard to exceed their expectations. Are we perfect? No. But I believe the sign of a great company is how you handle problems. We work very hard to exceed people's expectations. The bottom line. Ask your builder what kind of warranty he provides and what his philosophy is behind his warranty. Part 2. During Construction. Chapter 36. Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. A few years ago, Richard Carlson wrote, "Don't sweat the small stuff, and it's all small stuff." In his now famous book, he said, "Often we allow ourselves to get all worked up about things that, upon closer examination, aren't really that big a deal." That's not only good advice for life, it's especially important during the home building process. I can assure you there's going to be a lot of small stuff during the building of your home. Many people who frequently call their builder's office worrying about minor things make the building process much more difficult, both on the builder and on themselves. A homeowner who worries when a subcontractor is 2 hours late to the job, or needs to know why a 2x4 has a knothole in it, or notices some sawdust in a corner of the living room, can take the wind out of anyone's sail and cause delays. Yes, it is important to let your builder know if there are things that truly concern you, because your builder wants to provide a complete and pleasurable experience. However, people who view every little thing as a big deal and worry about it all, especially those who call their builder daily with their current worry list, are never going to be satisfied. Jordan was someone who excelled in sweating the small stuff during the building of his new home. Throughout the design and contract stage of his new home, Jordan was a delight and seemed to be the perfect candidate for a successful project. The trouble started when his builder mentioned the surveyors were scheduled for Thursday. Even though the survey work didn't need to get done for at least 2 weeks, the builder wanted to schedule it early so it wouldn't be a critical component in the building schedule. At 7 o'clock Thursday morning, it was raining buckets and continued to rain all day. Early Friday morning, before the builder's offices opened, Jordan called because he was worried about the surveyor. The builder explained to him that because of the full day of rain the previous day, the surveyor was delayed by a day. Jordan was stressed. It was the first of many times throughout the process Jordan was sweating the small stuff. A week later, when the material was dropped at his lot so construction could begin, the delivery truck got stuck due to all the recent rain. The builder's office got another call from Jordan wanting to know all the details about why there were tire ruts in his front yard. The day the foundation man was scheduled, he was delayed because of traffic. Another phone call from Jordan. Once the foundation work was prepared, Jordan called to find out what day the inspection would occur. Once inspection passed, Jordan wanted to know what the inspector said and why the inspection card in the permit box was signed off in black marker instead of blue ink. After the foundation was installed, there was a bag and a half of mortar left over and 2 wheelbarrows of sand. Jordan called to ask what was going to be done with the leftover material. It went on and on and on throughout the entire job. Jordan continued to sweat the small stuff. No amount of meetings and explanations could convince Jordan to let the builder do what he had hired him to do. It was counterproductive to the relationship and impeded the builder's ability to execute the job with excellence. The builder spent more time answering Jordan's questions about the small stuff than he did looking for opportunities to build his home in the most efficient and effective way possible. It's important to know that if you're going to sweat the small stuff, and remember, as Richard Carlson said, it's all small stuff, it usually will not help you get what you really want. At the end of the day, you and your builder both want the same thing: a quality, custom home completed on time and within budget. So relax and let your builder worry about the small stuff. In the end, you'll be doing yourself a favor. The bottom line: don't sweat the small stuff. Let your builder do that. Chapter 37. What language are you speaking? I didn't buy this home at a scratch and dent sale. See that chip in my bathtub? I don't want it repaired. I want the entire tub torn out. Rick clearly was not happy. He obviously had definite expectations, and in his opinion, they weren't being met. It's imperative to have a clear understanding of your expectations if something is scratched or damaged during the construction process. There are over 100,000 components that go into a new custom home, and in the process of installation, something may inadvertently get scratched or damaged. I recommend you agree in writing with the builder that if he can bring the damaged item to a new quality standard, it will be mutually acceptable. If you took delivery on a new car and it had a minor scratch, you wouldn't expect the dealer to replace the entire door or the entire car. Agree on standards with your builder before you begin. A builder friend of mine was once hired as a mediator to help resolve a conflict between a homeowner and a builder. Instead of going to a jury trial, the builder and homeowner had agreed to binding arbitration. The mediator's opinion would be binding. When the mediator arrived at the house, he was introduced to Dr. Jones, the homeowner, who was already dressed for work in his medical scrubs. He was then introduced to Mr. Jenkins, the builder, who also arrived dressed for work in his cowboy boots, blue jeans, and a Harley-Davidson T-shirt. From the start, the mediator felt they were speaking different languages. No wonder they had conflict. They came from 2 different worlds. The doctor was trained in exacting measures. He was trained to do things right the first time, every time. In his world, there were no second chances. A surgeon cannot tell a patient, "Oops, I forgot I left a scalpel inside your stomach during the operation." But the builder in cowboy boots and blue jeans was thinking, "What's the big deal? The wall was put in the wrong side of the line. We can move it in 10 minutes. Years later, and thousands of dollars in attorney fees later, there was an angry homeowner and the frustrated builder, each one looking for something the other could not provide. The surgeon was looking for a deal, and the builder was looking for the opportunity to say he built for a doctor. In the end, the mediator provided his written binding judgment, but neither side ended up happy. The sad thing is all of this could have been avoided if they had understood what they didn't know about the other person's point of view. I suggest you and your builder have your expectations defined and clearly written out before any construction begins. Building a new home involves so many components, and there will be things to deal with all along the way. Be clear how your builder will handle any issues. The bottom line: define the expectations in writing before construction begins. Chapter 38. 8 Common Arguments Builders Have with Homeowners, and How to Avoid Them. 1. Homeowner thinks, "You never finished my punch-out walkthrough list." At closing, the builder and homeowner assemble a walkthrough list. You walk through the entire house together to determine if there are any areas or items that still need attention. It's important to have this list in writing and signed by both the homeowner and the builder. If not, the list will never end. Your builder will become frustrated when items are continually added to the list. Homeowners will be frustrated because they will feel as though the builder never completed the original list. Get the list in writing and agree that if any additional items arise beyond the initial walkthrough, you will create a new, separate list. 2. Homeowner thinks, "I didn't think adding 2 more windows to my new home would be an extra cost. After all, I'm paying a lot of money for this home." Changes need to be clearly communicated and put in writing to protect both parties and the relationship. 3. Homeowner thinks, "This is a shoddy builder. I never would have hired him if I had known this." Builder thinks, "These homeowners have completely unrealistic expectations. I can never please them." Before signing a contract, both the builder and homeowner need to clearly outline their expectations. While this may take a little more time, the effort is well worth it. Pen and paper up front can solve a whole host of misunderstandings and he said, she said situations down the line. 4. Builder thinks, "The homeowner doesn't have sufficient funds to make changes." Homeowner thinks, "The builder didn't communicate changes clearly and in a timely manner." Agree in writing regarding any changes that occur after the contract is signed. I also recommend homeowners pay for changes they want at the time of the change, not at the end of the job. This will keep all parties on good terms with each other and the homeowner from having any big financial surprises at the end. 5. Homeowner thinks, "My builder is not taking my concerns seriously. They are falling on deaf ears." Have regularly scheduled meetings with your builder to update the schedule, changes, homeowner concerns, and items that the builder needs in order to complete the home. That way, you don't have to feel like you are nagging the builder, and he doesn't have to feel like construction is being halted every time he turns around. 6. The homeowner says he spoke to the subcontractor, and the subcontractor said he could do something for the owner without the builder's knowledge. All communication must be communicated through the builder or construction manager who is running the job. This will avoid he said, she said misunderstandings. 7. The homeowner is speaking to everyone but the builder on matters related to the home or its construction. Open and honest communication with the builder or construction manager is vital, not just with anyone who will listen. Let the builder do what you hired him to do. 8. The homeowner is continually second-guessing the builder and the decisions he is making. Take time at the start of the project to interview and gain a high level of trust with the builder and his abilities. Also, speak to previous homeowners about their home building experience with this builder. The bottom line: save yourself headaches and heartaches by discussing all 8 of these issues with your builder and resolve them in advance. Chapter 39. How long does it take to build a new custom home? The amount of time it takes to build a new custom home depends on the size, complexity, and geographic location, what part of the country you're building in. The time it takes just to complete the architectural plans depends on how timely you make decisions and your availability to meet with your designer and builder for design meetings. On average, developing a new set of plans that is ready for permitting can take between 3 and 6 months. Add one more month for permitting. For a home that's approximately 3,000 square feet, anticipate about an 8 to 10 month construction time, provided the market isn't overly busy and there is a timely response from vendors and subcontractors. If you're building a 6,000 square foot home, anticipate a construction time of 12 to 13 months. For a 10,000 square foot home, add 2 months to the design time, add another 6 to 8 months of construction time. These estimates assume normal market conditions, which allow for a timely response from vendors and subcontractors. It's important to understand the realistic timeline you get from your builder and the things that may delay a timely completion process. Beware of a builder who promises an overly idealistic timeline just to get the contract. In the end, you'll be stuck with the reality timeline. The bottom line. Ask your builder how long the design, permitting, and building process takes, and what would cause delays in the process. Chapter 40. Understanding two worlds, yours and your builder's. I once talked to a builder friend who built a custom home for a world-class race car driver. The year he built Joe's home, he was ranked number 1 in the world and won the driving circuit for that year. Early on in the construction process, the builder couldn't understand why it was so unsettling to Joe if things didn't go quite as planned. If a subcontractor showed up a day late, even with a legitimate reason, Joe was upset. The builder began to feel somewhat disconnected with him. Later that year, Joe gave the builder complimentary tickets to a big race. It was an exciting day with friends, watching the race from noon until 8 o'clock in the evening, filled with the thrill of the race, the crowds, and the cars. After heading home to bed, my friend woke up the next morning and turned the television on to see the latest report on this exciting 24-hour race. At that moment, the apparent disconnect suddenly made sense. After 21 grueling hours of racing, Joe was leading the race by a mere 10 seconds. It dawned on him at that moment, in Joe's world, 10 seconds was everything. The precision required to be a world-class race driver was very different than the precision required to build a home. To Joe, having a subcontractor show up a day late was incomprehensible. In this 24-hour race, Joe was part of a 3-driver rotation. If during the driver exchange one driver bumps his knee on the door and loses 4 or 5 seconds in the transition, it can cost him the race. The exacting standards of the construction industry were just different than the exacting standards of race car driving. Until that moment, the builder didn't understand Joe's world. Before you enter into an agreement with your home builder, the two of you should seek to understand each other's worlds. If the builder had done this with Joe, it would have saved unnecessary turmoil in the building process. The bottom line. Let your builder know about your world and try to understand his. Chapter 41. Should I be afraid of a change order? No, you shouldn't be afraid of a change order, if it's done right. What is a change order? Basically, it's a document that's used during the home building process to let the builder know what you want to change from the original design specifications. For example, you may ask for a change because you want a different selection. You've changed your mind about countertops. Originally, you wanted tile, but now you want granite. You can also use a change order to provide for a more functional use of space. Your builder may also initiate a change order because material is no longer available, shipment delays have occurred, or a new and better product has become available. The change listed on the change order must be described clearly with a fully researched price. Your signature will be required. A change may or may not affect the contract price of your home or the delivery date of the home. But here's what really matters. You need to know. A change order does that. So even if you initiate a change order for upgraded granite countertops and you agree to pay the extra cost, you still need to understand that shipping delays may bump the construction schedule back 3 weeks. Changes are possible, but they have consequences. The positive thing about a change order is everything is written down. You sign it, we sign it, and we're back in business. Nobody is going to hear, "But I thought you said." Changes are clear and documented. Some homeowners may be afraid of a change order because most builders don't process them well. Can you imagine the chaos that would occur if we just proceeded with phoned-in instructions? You don't want to have a conversation with your builder where you both think, "But I'm sure he said." Whether the change order is a large or small item, it always creates a wrinkle in the construction process. Some section of work has to stop until we know if we need to change direction. We do research, make phone calls, and solicit new bids. A change order may be due to a product being discontinued, or there may be extensive delays in delivery of the original selection. Occasionally, there are shortages of material, and the builder may propose using another material in order to keep on schedule. This action would prompt a change order for you to review and sign. Remember, the change order protects you. It's your home, and you remain in the driver's seat. The bottom line: minimize the number of change orders by hiring a builder who communicates clearly up front before you start building. When a change order occurs, make certain a paper trail follows for your protection and the protection of your relationship. Chapter 42. Why do I have to pay a builder's margin on a change order? Home builders often hear, "Don't builders make enough profit so they can just include the changes as we go along? After all, we're building a custom home and we're entitled to make changes. Otherwise, we would have bought a home from a production builder." While this seems like a valid point from a buyer's perspective, most people would be surprised to find out that builders don't make as much money as they think. We always encourage homeowners to work diligently on the front end before construction begins so they can keep change orders to a minimum. Changes can happen during the construction of a custom home, but you need to be aware of how the process works, the consequences of a change, additional time and cost, and understand the builder's margin. Custom homes are built with as little as 4 changes, and some with more than 200 changes. It's difficult to gauge how many changes a homeowner may make after signing the contract. Most people start out saying they love their plans and they love everything they've picked out. Yet, once construction starts, we may receive 9 phone calls requesting 20 changes during the first week alone. Changes involve a lot of energy and a lot of the builder's team's time. In order to effectively process and execute changes to a custom home, a builder needs to be fairly compensated. The last thing that you want is to have your builder wincing when he looks at his mobile phone when you call. We're not saying that a builder should be able to take a trip to Hawaii because of a single change order fee he earns while building your home, but a fair and equitable fee that encourages your builder to work on your behalf for an excellent result is vital to the home building process. We don't encourage or discourage our homeowners to make changes. Being available to give professional counsel when questions about changes occur is our duty and responsibility. We're motivated to give our homeowners a great experience. We once built a home for a corporate executive. John was a great client and a great guy. Our contract agreement outlined that he would provide his own refrigerator. Near the end of construction, John asked if he could use my supplier to purchase the refrigerator at my cost. Since we had a strong relationship and my focus was on serving, we allowed him to select the refrigerator. We had it delivered and only requested reimbursement of the cost of the appliance, without charging him a builder's margin. In our original agreement, one of the items that this homeowner valued was an extended warranty, which we provided. Approximately 14 months after John moved into his new home, the seal on the refrigerator failed, and water leaked onto the hardwood floor, causing the floor to warp. When we contacted the appliance company, they indicated that the refrigerator was out of warranty, and since the home was still in warranty because of the extended warranty period we had provided, we had an obvious problem. Not only did we have to pay to repair the refrigerator, but we also had to pay for repairing the kitchen floor and sanding and finishing the entire floor in his house because the new finish didn't match the original finish in the rest of the home. We learned a valuable lesson from that experience. If changes occur that deviate from the original contract agreement, then a builder's margin must be charged to compensate fairly for the time, energy, and risk associated with items that may need to be addressed at a later date. The bottom line: agree in advance what the builder's margin will be on change orders. Decide what you want before construction begins, and if a change occurs, you'll have a mechanism that provides for a win-win situation. Chapter 43: How to Make Your Builder Love You. We've built a lot of homes, and we've worked with some really great people and some very difficult people. Our most successful projects have been the result of developing strong relationships. Here are some tips on how to have a successful construction project and make your builder love you. Tell the builder what he's doing right. One particular homeowner found something good to say every time we spoke. Yes, every time. Nick didn't do this in a patronizing way. He gave me and my team genuine compliments. He looked for and commented on the positive aspects in our relationship and the services we were providing. Nick also shared his concerns with me. I would do anything for Nick, and still would to this very day, more than 5 years after completing his home. Clearly communicate problem areas. If something is bothering you about your new home construction process, clearly communicate what concerns you without anger or a condescending attitude. Give your builder an opportunity to make it right. A demonstration of a great builder is how well he handles problems. Clearly communicate your expectations. Be forthright and share with your builder what you really value and tell him what is important to you. If you're clear, you'll probably get what you want. Let your builder do his job. We've been hired by homeowners in the past who seemed to be agreeable, only to find out later they wanted to control the entire process and hover over us. Behavior like that makes our entire team reluctant to make a decision for them. Think win-win. Builders are regular people, just like your next-door neighbors. They generally don't make as much money as people imagine, and most builders really want to do a good job. Work toward amicable solutions. Remember to say thank you. Builders are people too, and everyone likes to hear a thank you for a job well done. The bottom line: follow these helpful hints, and your builder will love you. Chapter 44: Why you shouldn't use friends as subcontractors. Sometimes a homeowner will say, "I have a friend or a brother-in-law who is willing to do the tile work in my new home for a discounted rate. I'd like to use him and save some money." Most quality custom home builders have learned the hard way that it's not a good idea to allow homeowners to use friends or relatives for subcontracting work on the house during construction. Frequently, it turns out to be a disaster for both the builder and the homeowner. Here's one example of why. Scott wanted to use his friend's custom cabinetry shop. Scott knew the friend well and had spoken to another friend who was pleased with the cabinetry from this particular company. The builder didn't want to allow it, but also didn't want to anger his client, so he agreed to let Scott use his friend's cabinet company. The builder was promised the cabinet work would be completed by a specified date, but the cabinets were not installed on time. In fact, they were delayed several times and eventually caused a 2-month delay in the construction schedule. In the end, Scott and his family moved in without any cabinet doors on the face of the cabinetry in their entire home, and then waited an additional 2 months to have their job complete. That didn't even take into account the lost momentum or additional cost in interest carry, overhead, and other expenses as a result of the delay from the cabinet shop. When you hire a builder, I strongly encourage you to allow your builder to do what he does best. When you visit a dentist, you expect him or her to be trained and equipped to do the job efficiently and effectively. You wouldn't think of bringing your own tools or materials, handing them to your dentist, and asking if you could save money on a filling because your neighbor or friend is in the dental supply business. You wouldn't take a steak to a restaurant and ask them to cook it for you so you could save a few dollars on the meal. The principle is no different in home building. If you use friends or your own business contacts, it will disrupt the smooth flow of work and communication of what an experienced builder does best. It could also produce conflict and put strain on your personal relationships. Trust your builder. He has vendors, subcontractors, and a labor force already in place that he works with on a regular basis. The bottom line: hire a competent builder to do the building. Save your friends for the housewarming party. Chapter 45. The Top 11 Mistakes Made by Homeowners. 1. Purchasing a lot that is affordable. Solution: remember location, location, location. Purchase the most expensive, valuable lot you can manage, even if it means waiting on some finishes or amenities in your home. See Chapter 6 for more on this topic. 2. Trying to build a custom home without a professional builder. Building a custom home is more complex than most people realize. It takes skilled professionals years to learn the business, and even then changes in the industry, materials, and codes make it difficult to keep up. Solution: find a competent builder you can trust. Negotiate a reasonable fee for his services and hire him. See Chapter 3. 3. Purchasing a ready-made plan, thinking it will save you money. Building someone else's design or dream, especially one that was designed for someone in another city and state, may not be the wisest choice. Solution: purchase a ready-made plan only if your lot is standard and you don't need to modify the plan. See Chapter 12. 4. Choosing a builder primarily because of price. The expression, "you get what you pay for," applies to the home building process. If you've heard horror stories about people's experience with their builder, it usually can be attributed to someone trying to get a deal. Solution: your home is a major investment. Make an informed, purposeful, thoughtful decision, and don't be lured by the lowest bid. See Chapter 17. 5. Biting off more than you can chew. In an appreciating market, the rise in value can cover this mistake, but in a flat or declining market, it can be disastrous. Solution: know what you can afford and stick to your budget. See Chapter 23. 6. Hiring a builder when your gut instinct tells you not to. Solution: after careful research and comparing builders, go with your instinct, not the discounted price. See Chapters 4 and 28. 7. Making choices for your home that only you love but everyone else hates. Solution: get good counsel from your builder, designer, interior designer, and real estate professional before you make your decisions. See Chapter 14. 8. Expecting workers to be on your job every day from 7 a.m. until 4 p.m. Solution: recognize that some days no work is scheduled at all because inspections may be taking place, or rain has caused a change in the schedule. See Chapter 31. 9. Underestimating the importance of making all selections before construction. Solution: make all selections prior to construction and enjoy the building process. See Chapter 22. 10. Homeowners giving direction to subcontractors on the job. Solution: communicate only with the construction manager or builder. The construction manager is the only person on the job who has all the information related to your project. Subcontractors have only one piece of the puzzle. You can visit the job site during scheduled appointments with the construction manager, who can answer your questions and explain what you will be seeing. 11. Not understanding the change order process. Solution: discuss the builder's change order process with him and be sure you are clear with how it works. Cooperating fully with this process will go a long way toward your enjoyment of the whole project. See Chapter 36. The bottom line: avoid these common mistakes, and you'll be way ahead of the game. Chapter 46. Should I hire an independent building inspector? Sometimes homeowners choose to hire an independent building inspector during the building process of their new home, but that decision can be a double-edged sword. On one hand, if the building inspector's intent is to genuinely help the process by effectively communicating what he observes, it can really aid in the process of completing a new home. On the other hand, a building inspector who tries to justify his fee by searching for insignificant things can add confusion and even create an adversarial relationship between the builder and the homeowner, When this happens, nobody wins. We don't discourage our homeowners from hiring an independent building inspector. We think it's important for them to be fully comfortable with the building process. After all, they are investing a lot of money in their new home. If the homeowners can clearly define in positive terms what they want the inspector to do, the inspector will know we're not in an adversarial position. We will all be on the same page, working together to create a beautiful home. Much of what is noted by a private building inspector is already being handled by the builder or the required local, county, and municipal building inspectors at code inspections. Hiring the private building inspector may be additional cost without any real value added to the homeowner. Homeowners who live out of town, out of state, or even out of country from their home building site may want to hire an inspector to watch over the construction process. This is a different assignment. To achieve the desired results, it will be important to choose a building inspector who understands the difference and does not try to create an adversarial situation. A good choice here can make or break a situation. We look for people who understand the "we're all on the same team" mentality, and a lot of people don't. We're all on the same side. We all want the same thing. We all want a beautiful home built to the highest standards. Our goals are not opposite yours or the inspector's. Understanding this is crucial. Be sure you are not hiring someone who feels the need to justify his fee. For any homeowner, if you are feeling uneasy about your builder, then you should question why you are hiring that builder in the first place. The bottom line: if you hire an independent inspector, make certain he is helping, not hindering the building process. Chapter 47. How to Maximize Your Valuable Investment. You know how you feel when you drive a new car out of the showroom. You don't want any dust, dirt, or stains to ruin the beautiful seats on the inside or paint on the outside. You keep the interior clean and regularly wash and wax the exterior to keep it spotless. A little preventative care can go a long way in preserving the life of your new car. The car manual provides a maintenance plan that highlights key times to perform routine care, to keep the engine running smoothly and the rest of the car performing at its peak. Do home builders provide a similar maintenance plan to new homeowners, letting them know what regular care should be given to their new home? Not usually, but they probably should. After all, a new home is one of the biggest investments most people make during their lifetime. So it's wise to take care of it from the start. A little planning and elbow grease will go a long way toward keeping your home clean, maintaining its value, and avoiding costly repairs later on. If you're not that handy around the house, you might want to consider hiring a professional to tend to things that need cleaning and maintaining. This will be money well spent. Here is a home maintenance plan with some suggestions for maximizing enjoyment of your new home and maintaining its value. Regular washing. Just like a new car, your new custom home needs a regular washing too. Try to pressure wash the exterior at least twice a year. 4 times a year is best. The exterior paint, stucco, brick, siding, or other components will not only maintain a better look, but will last longer as well. Flush the air conditioning condensation line. This preventative maintenance measure costs only pennies, but has real lasting value. Flush the air conditioning condensation line with a cup of bleach twice a year to avoid algae buildup and blockage. This simple preventative step will save you the stress of your line becoming backed up, allowing water to pour through the drywall. Clean the gutters and the filters. Have your home's gutters cleaned at least twice a year to avoid leaf buildup. Also, be sure to change, or clean if they are reusable, your air conditioner's filter every 3 months. A clean filter helps your unit run more smoothly and saves you money on your electric bill. A clean filter also increases the life of your air conditioning unit. Nothing is more frustrating, not to mention costly, than having to install a new air conditioning unit in the middle of the summer. Replace with fresh batteries. Daylight savings time is a great reminder for this step. In the fall and spring, when you adjust your clocks, replace the batteries in your smoke alarm. As an extra note, be sure to check your irrigation clock every few months to ensure proper operation. Avoid abrasive cleaners on hardwood. If you have hardwood floors, it's important to keep them clean in order to extend their beauty and life. However, be careful to never use wax or harsh cleaners on your hardwood floors. The chemicals could permanently damage the flooring and result in a costly fix. Garage door safety reminders. Two important things to keep in mind if you have a garage door opener. First, never remove the garage door obstruction sensor. This safety feature is designed to prevent the overhead door from coming down on a child or animal and injuring or killing them. Check the sensor every few months to make sure it is working properly. Second, it's important to never try any type of garage door spring maintenance or adjustments by yourself. If the tightly coiled spring somehow comes off, it can cause serious injury. Always hire a trained installer or maintenance professional to assist you. Check and reseal. Check the exterior of your home twice a year for any signs of expansion or contraction. Cracks may allow water to seep in, causing extensive damage to the interior walls. Caulk cracks and seal wood to prevent future problems. While this maintenance plan is not comprehensive, it does include some of the most important items every homeowner should do to protect their investment. Your home may have some additional needs to consider. Why not take this maintenance plan and find a creative way to remind yourself to do these activities? Perhaps you could write reminders on your wall calendar, schedule them into your day timer, or set up reminders that will pop up on your computer. However you decide to do it, these regular maintenance items will maximize your home's value and maintain its beauty for years to come. The bottom line: keep up with routine maintenance and cleaning around your house, or consider hiring professionals to protect your new home investment. Chapter 48. What can I expect after I move in? Imagine it's been a few months since your custom-built home was completed. You've moved the furniture in, decorated your favorite spots with mementos and other personal belongings, and even hosted a few housewarming and dinner parties. Your home is the envy of the neighborhood, and your friends marvel at the attention to detail and excellent craftsmanship. But there are no perfect homes, and a fact of new home construction involves the foundation settling and minor cracks appearing. Many of the cracks appear because your home is adjusting to temperature and humidity changes. Builders can't build your home under factory-controlled conditions. So don't panic when minor cracks appear. This is completely normal. To help ease your fears, here's a list of common situations that occur in new homes. Builders are often asked these questions, and plenty more, from panic-stricken homeowners who fear their perfect home is now laden with problems. Remember, thousands of components were used to put together your home over an extended period of time, so settling and minor adjustments should be expected. A good builder will address your concerns promptly and work with you. So what can you expect? Crown molding cracking. This is very common, and there's no way around it. Expect to find minor cracking and separation in your crown molding, especially in two-story homes. Settling, heat expansion, and contraction will occur as your home acclimates to the new temperature conditions inside from running your air conditioner and heating systems. This does not mean there is anything structurally wrong with your home. Cracks in your crown molding actually look worse than they really are. A qualified handyman can caulk these minor cracks within minutes, and after the repair, you shouldn't be able to tell there was ever a crack at all. Grout cracking. Another common spot to find minor cracking is in the tub and shower area. You may notice cracks appearing along the grout lines between tiles or in the corners of the tub or shower. Again, a handyman with the appropriate sealant can take care of this. It's a good idea, however, to add the sealant quickly to prevent moisture from seeping behind the tile and causing further damage. Hardwood expansion and contraction. If you have hardwood floors professionally installed in your home, not constructed from a prefabricated kit, you can expect to find some minor cracks appearing over time. The hardwood acclimates to the temperature of your home, again due to cool air and heat, after installation, and the wood planks will expand and contract. This is normal. It's best to allow the wood to expand and contract for at least 6 months so it completely settles before making any repairs. A professional installer or handyman can putty in the minor cracks. Door adjustments. Even doors and door frames will need time to adjust to the temperature after a new home is finished. The doors, locks, door handles, and deadbolts may need some minor adjustment. This is completely normal. Cracks in the sidewalk, driveway, and garage. It is not uncommon for minor cracking to occur along concrete sidewalks, driveways, and even inside the garage. Expansion and contraction also happens here because of the varying temperature conditions that the concrete is exposed to. As long as you don't notice a difference in the height of the concrete on either side of the crack, don't worry. These cracks are normal. It does not mean that there is anything wrong with the concrete foundation. Typically, cracks in concrete are not mended unless there is a height difference between the concrete on either side. Receptacle not working. If a receptacle, wall plug, in the bathroom, kitchen, garage, or in the home's exterior mysteriously stops working, don't be alarmed. It may just be a tripped circuit. The current electrical code requires builders to put in a receptacle called a GFI, or ground fault interrupter. This measure is added for your safety to prevent accidental electrocution. These receptacles have an internal trip circuit built in that acts as a safety mechanism when there is water and electricity coming in contact. If there is an electrical surge, the receptacle will trip the GFI and automatically cuts off the electricity. Since 4 or 5 receptacles can be located on one circuit, it may be necessary to reset it. You'll need to look for a small button on the receptacle and push it. The button is usually located on the bottom or near the bottom of the receptacle site. If your receptacle continues to trip on a regular basis, call your builder or electrician to check out the problem. This is by no means a complete list of situations that may occur after you move into your home. If you have a more specific question or situation, contact your builder to determine the best approach to fix the problem. The bottom line. Some settling is likely to happen after you move into your home, and some cracks may appear. Don't panic. The fix is usually easy, and it doesn't mean you have a defective house. Chapter 49. Is going green the way to go? Today, many builders and home buyers are concerned about preserving the environment. With increased attention on the condition of our planet, green building has become a sought-after choice for homeowners. But what does green building mean? In its simplest terms, green building is making your home more environmentally friendly. It means increasing your home's efficiency, so it makes better use of things like water, energy, temperature control, and construction materials. It's about using resources effectively, so you reduce the impact of your home on the environment. While building an environmentally friendly home sounds good to most people, they usually want to know 2 things. What can I do? And how much will it cost me? Let's address the last question first. You may have heard that building green is more expensive. While that may be true in some instances, it doesn't have to be. In today's market, some elements of green building can cost more initially, but many do not, and some even cost less. Factor in energy savings over time, and the increased durability of many of the green building products and any additional upfront cost becomes much easier to justify. Also, many mortgage companies now offer reduced mortgage rates to homes built green. To answer the other question, let's take a look at a few things you can do to make your new home more environmentally friendly. Heating and cooling equipment. One of the most important things you can do to make your home more green is to carefully consider your choice of heating and cooling equipment. The heating air conditioning system should be built and installed with the highest SEER, Seasonal Energy Efficiency Ratio rating possible. The greater the SEER rating, the more energy efficient your unit will be. The system should also be sized appropriately to effectively cool or heat your home without being oversized. In fact, it is often better to err on the side of being undersized by half a ton than oversized. Note that a ton is a unit of energy used to measure output. Typically, you need about 1 ton of output for every 400 square feet of your home. Many builders don't recommend that you oversize the tonnage of your home's AC system. The most efficient homes often run on a system designed to be 10% smaller than typical installations. A good air system should also be installed with as few bends and connections in the ductwork as possible, so as to minimize the risk of gaps and voids. Insulation. If it's within your budget, one great option is to have your home insulated with a foam product. When installed correctly, foam can be quite effective. On top of the good R values, a term used to measure how well insulation resists the flow of heat or cold through it, foam can fill cracks and crevices in ways that traditional insulation can't. If a foam product can't be used, great care should be exercised to make sure the insulation is done to eliminate as many gaps and penetrations as possible. Home orientation. To reduce energy loads, it's important to design and position the house in such a way as to minimize exposure to the hot sun while taking advantage of cooling breezes. Whenever possible, the front door or the house's longest wall should be set to within 5 feet of true south. It may also be important to landscape in such a way to create windbreaks for the home or create shade to increase efficiency. Good window placement can increase natural light while reducing the need for electric lighting. Windows and doors. Windows help make a home beautiful, but they can also waste a lot of energy if they let in heat in the summer, cold in the winter, and drafts anytime. To get more energy-efficient windows, select ones with good insulation values. Some have special coatings which can help repel heat. Others are double or triple paned, which helps insulation. Some energy-efficient windows have non-toxic gas between the panes, such as argon or krypton, that provide better insulation than air. Even the window frames can affect how efficient they are. For example, aluminum frames typically provide lowest insulation level. Wood, vinyl, and fiberglass are better. Warm edge spacers are even better. Certain window coverings like reflective blinds and shades can also generate incredible savings on energy usage. When it comes to doors, make sure they have a tight fit and use excellent weather stripping. Some new door frames include a magnetic strip that creates a tighter seal and reduces the amount of air that leaks out. Some of the best core materials for a door include fiberglass and foam. If a door has glass, it will be more energy efficient if double or triple paned insulating glass is used. Roofing and exterior paint. Consider using reflective roofing and lighter exterior paint colors. These two items offer a cooler home by reflecting the sun's rays rather than absorbing them. Roof choices, reflective, and lighter paint colors can create double-digit drops in exterior surface temperatures, which can result in greater energy savings. Building materials. Choose to use earth-friendly products and building materials whenever possible. Typically, these include products made with recycled content, products that conserve natural resources, products that avoid toxic emissions, products that are rapidly renewable such as bamboo, cork, and straw. Water systems. Consider installing tankless and point-of-use water heating systems. These systems do away with the traditional standing hot water tanks and more efficiently heat water for the home. They are also more cost-effective. Appliances. Consider installing Energy Star-rated appliances. Energy Star is a program backed by the government that identifies products with high energy efficiency. These products often last longer, are more economical to operate than non-Energy Star-rated appliances. The bottom line. Building an environmentally friendly home can not only save you money over time, but also help save the environment. But keep in mind, incorporating green features into your home early is critical to its success. A final thought. As I mentioned in the introduction, I've been building homes since I was 10 years old. I started following my father around and helping him as much as I could when he started his own home construction business. For most of my life, I've seen the value a beautiful home can have to a family. For me, a house is more than just bricks and mortar. It's more than a beautiful structure with bedrooms, bathrooms, and garages. It's an intimate living space that speaks to the very heart of who you are. It's not just a house. It's a home. In the home I built for my own family a few years ago, I remember the bedroom we created for my oldest daughter, Lauren. She was about 5 at the time. We made her a princess room with an elevated bed draped in soft silk flowing fabric, just like a real princess would sleep in, we told her. Underneath the elevated bed, we created a magical, safe, almost secret space with a door on the front. Frequently, my wife or I would climb into this wonderful space with her to play games, tell stories, pray together, and reflect on God's goodness. She loved her princess room. At the end of the day, I always looked forward to tucking Lauren in for the night. High up in her princess bed, surrounded by the magic of silk fabric, fluffy pillows, and flowering trellises, I'd tell her bedtime stories. Sometimes I'd share stories about my own childhood adventures growing up on a dairy farm. She never grew tired of hearing the one about her daddy being chased around the field by a furious heifer, and how the crazy cow bucked daddy right off his feet. I can still hear her giggles at the sound of the snorting cow and the shriek of the flying boy. I think I told her that story 300 times, just so I could hear those giggles. As she snuggled down for the night, I'd tell her how blessed I was to have her as my little girl, and how much I loved her and her brothers and sisters. Then, before she slipped off into her own private world of princess dreams, I loved to pray with her. Like so many parents, I prayed that God would bless her and protect her. I prayed her relationship with Him would grow deep and strong, and that she would want to serve this great God her whole life. I prayed that she would live to be a blessing to others. After bedtime prayers came the goodnight hugs and kisses. I'd step down from the platform, switch off the lights, and close the castle door for my own little princess. Memories. For me, that's what building homes is all about. Creating a beautiful and safe structure so that children, parents, family, and friends can create and share memories for a lifetime. Every day, I have the privilege of helping people create unique places and spaces to make memories. I get to listen as people tell me about their own families, their wants, their needs, their values, and their dreams. Then I get to bring together an incredible team of talented people who work to shape and give life to those dreams. My hope is that this book has helped you move toward custom designing and building your own unique, one-of-a-kind home. Now that you know what's involved, you can find a great builder who will make your family's home dreams come true. Enjoy your journey. Dave Konkol.